Yes, guys, you know what time it is. It's your boy David at the Irish Hotspur, Ireland's #1 Spurs fan, Ireland's biggest legend, bringing you the Tottenham fan phone-in show, where it is my favourite show of the week, where we get all of you guys on and we hear your thoughts on absolutely everything. And I absolutely love it. But, of course, we are joined by co-host Jack Kanicki. Jack, my man, great job last week with Shawnee Boy. How are you keeping, man?
Keeping quite well, Dave. Had a nice weekend. Looking forward to what plenty of the Harris Army probably has to say, maybe about a certain, maybe scum getting a bit scared for this, match that was on Sunday, maybe as well, maybe some of the hypocrisy shown by the Premier League when it comes to, COVID rules and standards, maybe some conspiracy theories will be thrown that might be, also probably plenty accurate. Looking forward to maybe just what everybody has to say, Dave. I guess we move on to Leicester. I figured we'd be talking about the North London Derby, but we'll see what the Harris Army has, come up with maybe to talk about.
Yeah, look, Jacko, we turned the gunners into runners, you know what I mean? And now we're going to go do some fox hunting now during the week. So, make sure everyone that's traveling down to the Leicester game, bring your packed lunch with you so we can feed the foxes. I don't know what's happening, but look, we'll see who's in the building with us. And we have Ryan Clifford. He says, "Come on, you Spurs, big yourself up, my man." We also have Killian Kenny. Big up, David Harris. I hope you're all well. How are you keeping? Hi, Jack.
Big up, Killian.
Big up, Killian, my man. What a man. Dan Coyce, come on, you Spurs. Come on, you Harris Army. Come on, you Flat Cap Army. Big up, Dan Boy. I hope you're keeping well, my man. Big yourself up. The sisters in the building. Harris Army. # Davy Boy. Big up, Fee. I hope that niece of mine, Keela, is doing well. And, I would wish Dave best of luck this week. But, look, it's I suppose Liverpool are the lesser of two evils going into this Carabao Cup tie. But, hopefully it goes to extra time so we can drain them Liverpool legs. But big up for me. We have the regular. We won it 2 times. Come on, you Spurs. We have Tottenham Tantrum Gold. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the main event of the evening. Here is the leader of the Irish Hotspur Army. He is the one and only David Michael Collins Harris. Come on, you Harris Army. Big up, Dermot, my man. Chris says, "Evening, lads and ladies. Sorry, can't be joining you tonight. Have a great stream as always. Come on, you Spurs." Yeah, and big up, Chris. I hope you do feel better, my man. Hope you do feel better. And Dermot's in again. He says, "Ladies and gentlemen, he is the second in command of the Irish Spurs Army. He needs no introduction. The world over, he is the one and only Jack Stats man, Harry Boland Kanicki. Come on, you Flat Cap Army. Big up, Dermot. Big up, my man." We have Aidan Doherty in the house. He says, "Hi, lads. Big yourself up, my man." Shamu's in the building. Yeah, look, it is what it is. I'm not even going to get into it. I mean, I don't want to give the guy any more airtime than what he deserves, to be honest with you. Baz Radfire says, "Big up, David and Jack. I bet all of a sudden Arsenal will have many players back against Liverpool on Thursday." Look, this was the whole plan, my man. It's all they ever wanted was to get this game called off so they could give their players some time and some rest heading into the Carabao Cup semi-final. So in that case, actually, to be honest with you, I know I hate Liverpool, but I do actually want them to kick the shit out of Arsenal, to be honest with you. I really do. I want them to kick them all over the place, up and down the field, bar and bruise them. You know what I mean? Absolute. I can't believe they ran away. I mean, whatever they say about us, I mean, they've just handed us the golden egg of all golden eggs, Jack. I mean, honestly, we can just sit there and say, look, no matter what you say, you went running. You know what I mean? You went hiding. You were scared. You know what I mean? So I'm absolutely, I thank you for that in a way. Thank you, Arsenal, for giving me that. I'll always have that over you. Zoe's in the building, says, "Big up, lads. Big up, Zoe." James Watson is also here. "Big up, lads. Come on, you Spurs." Mr. Daigle's in the building and will be on first. We have Kai Alexander. Oi, big up, Kai. Ellie's in the house and she will also be on. Dirty Arsewipe's done the dirty on us. Got the match postponed. The same old Arsenal always cheating. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Tempest Fugia is in the house. Big up, guys. Come on, you Spurs. Who else have we got here? Mark Cousins is in the house. Big up, Marky Boy. Big yourself up. We have Mark as well. Hi, all. Brad is in the building, guys. And ready to come on, same as Mark. Dribbled Pi 55. Arsenal loaned out another player there, a joke, after saying they didn't have enough players for the London Derby. They should be fined. I mean, look, it's what I was speaking about Sunday. It's just, look, it's deep-rooted in corruption. I mean, David Dean's on the board. You know what I mean? If I was Tottenham, I'd be looking for an outside body to be investigating this if I was honest with you. Top 943 says, big up, Dave. Big yourself up, man. Anthony Gray says, the clock in this transfer window seems to be getting louder and quicker with each passing day. We haven't sold or bought anyone. We need ins and outs if we want chance of top 4 and attract top players. No, it's ticking. It is ticking, my man. Look, I just hope what I said before this transfer window doesn't come true, where you get Harry Kane contract, the Hugo Lloris contract on deadline day. I just hope it doesn't come true. Yeah. Hillsy's in the house. Big yourself up, my man. Yeah, of course you can call in, Hillsy. Of course you can, my man. Of course you can. Kev Williams says, evening, David and Jack. Come on, you Spurs and the Flat Cap Army. Hillsy, just make sure you have permission off your parents, first of all, my man. Make sure you have permission off the parents. Who else we've got? Fiona says, any signings yet this week? This is the week to look out for, according to Romano. Yeah, he did say that. I reckon that's where you'll see the Adama Traore deal happen. Wolves apparently have their replacement more or less ready to go as well. So I think that's what you'll see happen this week, to be honest with you, Fiona. The Bertie 1008 says, big up, David and Jack. Big yourself up, my man. Coco's in the building. He says, good vibes. Come on, you Spurs. Big yourself up. Where's the King is in the building. What's up, guys? My man, I actually have to speak to Jack after and give him your number, man, so he can find it. I can't find yours and you can't find mine. I don't know what's going on, brother. But I'll give it to Jack and we'll get you involved so you can do the fan cams, my man. Leo Ghost Audits says, when are we going to make any signings? I know, my man. I know. We have John Stokes in the house. He says, good evening, Dave and Jack. Looking forward to a top show. Come on, you Spurs. Big up, John. I hope you're keeping well, my man. I hope you're keeping well. I do apologize for no stream yesterday. I ended up having to go and do stuff. I got caught up. But look, you know, this week, it's a big week on the channel. A lot coming out as well. Yeah. And also, starting the international break, the podcast with We Are Tottenham TV and Matt Hayes will be coming out as well. And we have a lot lined up with the first guest that will be coming on. I'll let him explain it all when he comes on as well. With Mr. Dega from Tottenham on tour. So a lot of big things coming up, guys. But big up, John, my man. I really appreciate support and I hope you're doing well. Derek Hutchinson is in the house. Big yourself up. Aaron Dove as well. Happy Monday. I'll big up Aaron Dove. Islan Khan is here. We also have Nosco25. Hola, amigos. Looking forward to slagging the scum tonight. We have just welcomed our daughter into the world too. Another year to add to the Flat Cap Army. Big yourself up.
Wow.
Big yourself up, Nosco. Congratulations, my man. The greatest gift life can give you, my man. Big
up, Nosco. Beautiful. That's beautiful, Nosco. Big yourself up, my man.
Big up. Liam One says, big up, lads. It's the history of Arsenal. In 1919, they bribed their way into the Football League. Yeah. Division 1 when it was Tottenham. That should have been rightfully promoted. 100%, my man. 100%. Big yourself up. Claude Murphy says, big up, guys. Look how Arsenal dressed up little police and ran from the Spurs like thieves. Shame on the Gunners. 100%, my man. Shame on them all. Mary W says, good old arsewipes always cheating. Absolutely love it.
Big up, Mary.
Socrates in the house. Big up, Socrates. Make sure after the Leicester game you send in your fan cam, my man. He says, big up David, Jack, and all the Harris Army. 14 days to go, lads. TikTok. Time to build a squad. Time to replenish, reset, and return to glory. Absolutely love that. I love that. Big up, Socrates. Jack, anything you want to say to Socrates?
I mean, like maybe said before, it feels like every time, you know, the clock ticks, Dave, it's just getting louder and louder, almost echoing, you know, through your head. You're just thinking about, geez, I mean, are they really, like always, leaving it to the last minute, or even worse, you know, potentially, you know, making it, you know, the worst of all, which is, you know, no signings at all. I mean, Brian, it's becoming scarier and scarier. But like David said, always, how the way you just sometimes put these chats in, it's always just a bit of a mic drop. It's always just a bit of a moment where you just have to sit back and just look at how he put it so much more perfectly than sometimes David and I can drone on for minutes about. So, Brian, big yourself up, my man.
No, big up, my man. We have Ian Harper in the house. Big yourself, Ian Harper. We have Phil Letiss is in the building. Big up, Letiss. I hope you're keeping well, my man. We have Ken Cashel. Big yourself up, my man. I like that one. We also have Gary Stanley. Big up, guys. Conte Army. Big yourself up, man. In Conte we trust. In Conte we trust. Dave Tyson is in the house. Clemens is also here to join us. He says, hi, guys. Good to be with you. We also have Cuva99. Big up, all right. Hop on the call in tonight, David. But it feels like there's nothing to talk about. It's all just a frustrating waiting game right now. No, 100%, my man, 100%. Look, we're just here to provide maybe therapy and help people get through another night of the transfer window. That's all it is, Coover. Not much to talk about, but look, with Spurs fans, I suppose it's never a dull day in the life of a Spurs fan. Mick Hermaluk says, big up, lads. Come on, you Spurs. Big up, Mick, my man. I hope you're keeping well. We also have Anthony Keywood. Big up, guys. I'm hearing our next game might get cancelled at this rate. We'll be having a pre-season before our season has ended. Jeez. Come on, you Spurs. I know, man, it's getting beyond the joke right now. Some of these cancellations, they really do need to sort something out with this. I mean, just draw the line. No more cancellations. You play your games no matter what is where I go with that, Anthony. Look, especially as a content creator, it can be a nightmare. I mean, all the day before, you get absolutely everything ready for the next day, for the match and for the preview and the build-up and everything else like that, and then for it to be cancelled, it's absolutely heartbreaking.
I think there was like 2 stats with Jackson in a row, Dave, that, ended up getting, just put to waste. I think it was the Burnley one, and I think it was the Leicester City one, actually, right after as well. So, I mean, I know what it's like, believe that. Sue Smith's in the house, though. Absolute legend is in the house and joining us for, hopefully also someone that will be going on first, Sue. So I know you'll be excited. It's definitely Brian Daigle coming on first, so she's going to be excited for that as well.
No, big up, Sue Smith. I hope you're keeping well. It's good to see you back in all the chats. Tiger Lily, hi lads. Good to see you. Good to see you too, Tiger Lily. And we also have Carter Man Farming Simulator. Hello, guys. Spurs. Big yourself up. But look, that is everybody. Haven't missed everybody. Everybody got a good welcome. Steve Cock, or Golden Cock, sorry. Limcock Gooners. He's in there. Big up, Golden Cock. We have got everybody that's in the chat right now. Everybody, make sure you do smash a like on the stream. Make sure you smash a subscribe on the button or on the channel as well. And feel free to get your super chats in with your thoughts throughout the show. Always lead to great talking points as well. Anything you want to get to the guests as well, do get them in. But do not worry. We know the January Blues are upon us. Just get your comments in the chat, and we will do our best to get every single comment up as we go along. But look, let's just actually quickly, anyone that does get them membership super chats, because we run through StreamYard and we don't see YouTube, if you do get one in YouTube and we miss it, just let us know and we will go to it and we will call out the free ones that you do get for the for your memberships. And as well, fan cams after every single game. If you want to get in contact and you want to do them and put them up on the channel, like Ben Kaufman, like Ollie Freeman, like Socrates, and like so many more, simply just send them in, get in contact on social media, Instagram, YouTube in the community section, Twitter, or the email address. It's all below. So just simply click on it, get in contact, and I'll instruct you where to go from there. But look, let's get into it. Let's get the first guest on, and it's the one and only. It's his time of the month. It really is. He loves putting on pressure every transfer window, and it's Mr. Daigle from Tottenham. How are we keeping, my man?
We're good. She's in the building. Sue Smith, the diamond, is in the building, always and forever. Whenever I see that name, she gets this. And congratulations to the person that's just brought a daughter into the world. Huge congratulations to you and your families. And then, yeah, it is my time of the month, guys. It is my time of the month. My menstrual clock is ticking, or should I say my Levy clock is ticking. And it's go time. It's go time. But how are you two?
No, look, absolutely buzzing, my man. Just getting a bit concerned with the transfer window. I mean, It's kind of getting to what many of us predicted. Don't get me wrong. I mean, there's still time. I mean, 2 weeks is a long time, especially the last 2 weeks of the transfer window. You'd hope or expect to see things ramp up, but that's usually for every other club but Tottenham. So we'll have to wait and see, Brian. But look, it's looking like that debate that you had with Benji on We Are Tottenham TV is coming to fruition, my man. Jack?
So Jack will know. Jack's known me a long time. You both know me a long time. Everyone in this chat has known me for a long time. Not as well as you two, but knows of me. And I did that interview or that debate on January the 6th. And I called it. And I called it exactly how it's going to go. And the one thing you two can vouch for is that when it comes to this schmuck, I am always right. The only time I was wrong, he cost me a tattoo. But when it comes to this transfer sagas, I am never, ever wrong.
Yeah.
And here we are again. Let's say it's the 17th now. No one will be signing tomorrow because it's media day and getting ready for Leicester. That's the 18th. We play Leicester on the 19th. Forget that happening. We come back on the 20th. We have 11 days. 11 days to start
feels like a
making
book
moves.
report, Brian. It feels like a book report that they're just, like keeping till the very last minute, in order to turn in. They've had, probably a month in order to read the book, in order to, put the, the pen to paper, and yet they're probably just going to try to do it all in 1 week, and then end up saying, oh, I guess we couldn't sign that guy, and then we'll probably actually, to be fair, get some, striker from the Macedonian 5th tier league or something like that.
Well, we were speaking about that, weren't we, Jack? We were joking about on Tottenham away when we were saying we'll sign someone from the Macedonian 8th division. Was the
embarrassing part is I might know who that striker is.
It is, but the thing, I'm going to give a spoiler alert what's going to happen as well now. We'll sell a player, whether it be a Bergwijn, a Dele, to get the money for Adama. Let's say at the end of this week, beginning of next, we'll know the fee from Wolves is, let's say, 20 or whatever it was. And this schmuck will go in and say 15 mil. And they'll be like, well, no, it was 20 mil. And they'll go, yeah, but, and then we'll have a nice little drawn out process. And then it will either happen very, very last minute. And everyone will be like, oh, phew, we got it done in the last minute. What a relief. What a signing. Or it won't get done. And we would have made our squad weaker.
Brian, if we did say get 2 or 3 in last minute, would you still be happy? Or would you be happy? Or would you still be annoyed? Especially coming from the point of view where the board knew that this month was always going to be a big month with the Chelsea Carabao Cup games, the Arsenal game, which, look, they didn't know was going to be sport. They didn't know they were going to grow some chicken legs and run away. But, like, why haven't the board acted sooner, I guess, is what I'm trying to say, knowing that this month was always going to be a big month with the games we have coming up, and that it could potentially hinge maybe top 4 on the season if we could come out with a good one, gives us a real good push for top 4, that it didn't act sooner.
So like I said, the first thing that's wound me up about this whole thing is going into January, we knew the games were coming up. These weren't just run-of-the-mill games, and this was before Leicester even got chugged into the equation, because that fixture came in like last week or whatever it was, but since New Year's Day. So that's another fixture you're adding in. Obviously, we didn't know what was going to happen with Dyer, and we've seen, all right, we didn't really perform well against Chelsea. And we scraped past in the Premier League, the FA Cup. And if there'd been a replacement there, it wouldn't have been an issue. We also saw that during this time, this schmuck of a parasite decides this will be the good time to go to the Bahamas for a holiday. This would be a great time to go for a jolly up. And then obviously come back.
Bahamas, just quickly, on the Bahamas, right?
Yeah.
Now,
Beautiful
look, there
island.
was rumored at the time that he went out for rumored investment, and it kind of made sense. But since then, the 65 apartments, the cinema. Now, look, in the 65 apartments, don't get me wrong, I know some of them are going to social housing, which is good. But do you think that that's maybe what the investment was for? And that maybe he had to go over there to get signatures off Joe Lewis to be able to push through the final paperwork for all of this, and that it wasn't going over there for transfers.
That part we'll never know. But the one thing you do know is, and what I will vouch for, is that development was part and parcel of the stadium getting built. It had to get done. It had to be part of getting the plan in to build the stadium. So that was always coming. It was just a case of when is it going to come. And the timing, once again, by the club. Now, I spoke to Ben Kaufman about this, and obviously it's government side, so they release it when they want, whatever. But listen, you could have gone and done this in the Bahamas in November, October, in the summer. Don't go. Whilst Newcastle are making moves, Villa, once again, I have to big up Aston Villa and Christian Purslow for showing how a real club operate, how a real club communicate, how a real club set a class and a precedent of how other clubs should act. You go away, and you got to remember when he went away, we were going for Traore. He was coming, it was big, and then he's come back, and on the day he came back, it was then going to be a loan with obligation. And it also came out that we have to sell to buy, and all this stuff that we could have seen. We could have all seen it. We've been on this rodeo every January for the last God knows how many years, every summer for God knows how many years. So this is obviously going to come. But the part when you asked me about players coming in at the end, if they come, they come.
Yeah.
But then what happens is they come at the end, and the first thing they do is go away with their country to international duty.
Yeah.
So they got no time to integrate with the squad.
That's
no time. They then come back. We don't know how fit they were from when we bought them, match fit wise or whatever. We don't know if they get any niggling injuries from coming back. We don't know what countries are going and if anyone comes back with COVID. And that's not just a Tottenham thing. That's a worldwide thing. So even if we sign these players late January, then they go away with their countries.
They lose that embedding in period. They lose that
exactly
period to be able to come in. And also when the January is the toughest time to get embedded into a squad. I mean, we leave it to the very last minute for them to get embedded in.
And also, Jack, you got to remember, not only have they got embedded to the squad, but then they've got to get up to Conte's training regime and get up to par. So as soon it would have been good to get them in January, so you could have had weeks with them getting them up to fit. But they haven't even got when they get there. The first thing they're going to do is sign and go off to their country. Or at least I would hope they're going off to their country, because that's the class of people, class of caliber of players that we need. And once again, it's just been another masterclass in how to treat the fans like shit, treat the club like it's some kind of financial piggy bank, and disrespect everything that this club stands for. Everything.
Just quickly, Brian, what do you make of the fact that, you know, a lot of people have said, which I think is kind of, I don't know, I think I'll let you answer it, but a lot of people said, you know, maybe not a lot of clubs have made signings, you know, maybe apart from Villa, Everton, and Newcastle. But when you think about those three teams I just mentioned, they're in the same position as we are. We're teams that do really need rebuilds, teams that do really need to change everything up in their squad. And yet we seem to be that one squad that does need that rebuild. And yet we're taking our time.
The parasite wants Champions League money. Tottenham deserve, or should be, we've set it with Pochettino that we can compete in the Champions League. We have the stadium to compete in the Champions League. We have the training ground to compete with the Champions League. You don't get Champions League without investing in your squad. And you certainly don't hire Antonio Conte not to invest in your squad. You just don't do that. If you look at it, I don't think he walks in February. I don't think, let's just say it ends, no transfers, no nothing. He don't walk in February for me. He walks in the summer. But any way you look at it, if Conte walks in the summer or doesn't renew his contract, there are two other elite managers, 0.5 if you include Tuchel, but you're looking at Pep and Klopp. The only way Tottenham Hotspur can go on the managerial ladder if Conte walks is down.
Yeah.
Everything goes down. The caliber of players we could get, the pools to come to Tottenham. If we're not in the Champions League, we're in the Europa, or if not even that, the goddamn Conference League again. Then how do we attract people? How do we get these players? How do we get where he wants to be, or where we want to be? Fuck where he wants us to be. If we don't put investment in the pitch, and every single manager hears it, every single fan hears it, every single time, and I hear it all the time. And you can imagine how many times I've had to listen to it. Forget YouTube. I mean, for years. This will be the window. This is it. This is the manager. This is the director of football. Now we're in place. Now this is going to happen. Listen, another thing to add to this. We're 3 years into our stadium. Where's the naming rights?
Yeah.
When Arsenal moved into their toilet, the Emirates, when Leicester moved to theirs, the King Power, when Manchester City moved into theirs, the Etihad, and I can keep going on and on and on and on. Yeah. But where's our naming rights?
Yeah, true. And look, Brian, I do actually want to get onto something else, and I want to get. Look, I will be covering it tomorrow with Shawnee, our financial expert. I will be covering it, but I want to get your quick thoughts on it as well today, Brian. But before we do, Faz Radfar, if you could give him a quick update on
yeah, I mean, I can give the 193 people an update as well as Faz.
195 now, lads. We're going up.
We're going up and up and up and up. What can I say? Where can I take it from? I mean, I don't know where I should go from. All I can say, let me just give you where we are right now. Bob is awake. He has had to have a tracheotomy, which is when they put the thing in your throat and put a tube in there, because they're trying to wean him off the medically induced coma, the ventilator. His breathing is down to 45%. Today, for a little bit of time, he was sitting in a chair. So he was out of the bed and sitting on a chair, which, if you think about where we've been, is absolutely goddamn massive. He's very agitated. He keeps trying to rip his food food tube out, it keeps going in. He's making progress, so much progress so that Kim got a call from the doctors to say Bob wants his phone. So Bob right now has his phone. Whether he has turned it on and his phone has blown up because it's just gone ping, 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 like a pinball machine stuck. But he's fighting. He is fighting, and he is fighting hard. There is a long way to go. Like I said, at the moment he can't really talk because but they're starting to do things. I don't understand fully what they're saying, and Kim knows a bit more than Tammy. They're trying to bring him off the sedatives. They're trying to get him off the ventilator, but he's having kind of like intermittent times on the ventilator and off it. They're saying that he's breathing a little bit more easier. So I think that's exactly where we are. Obviously, you got to remember he hasn't moved since Boxing Day, so his muscles and we don't know how obviously his speech should be fine, but we don't know. It's been so long. But there's a long way to go. But we can say he's awake. His oxygen is below 45%. He's asked for his phone. He sat on a chair for some points. I mean, we all take like we're all sitting on a chair now. The three of us on camera. People could be laying on their bed or in the kitchen making dinner, whatever. We all take for granted just what sitting on a chair is. And for Bob right now, this is absolutely massive. So yeah, that's where we are now. Like I said, any more updates, I will always try and relate it. Obviously, I'm active in a lot of WhatsApp groups when I have them, if they're fresh from Kim or Tammy, because they've tried to get me on the list so I can call into the hospital. But hospital rules, they will not put me on the list until Bob wakes up and says, yes, Brian can go on the list. So Tammy and Kim are doing a wonderful job. And as soon as I get information, I will always let you guys know. But what I can let you know, as I said, is right now it's all positive.
No.
Good to hear, Brian. That's a blessing to hear. And so everybody in the chat, there you are. I mean, it's going to be a long road back, but it steps in the right directions. By the looks of it, steps in the right direction. So very good to hear.
Definitely is. It's good to hear that he's on the mend and that he'll be back out with us soon. Very good to hear. Just quickly, I forgot to say this at the start as well. Anyone that wants to be in the Irish Hotspur group chat as well, simply just get in contact. It is on WhatsApp and we'll get you involved. But Brian, I just want to get your answer on this because I will be pressing Sean on it tomorrow.
Yep.
But look, I'm not going to read out the whole statement from the Supporters Trust on it because I will say that tomorrow. But basically, Brian, they have upped the food and drink prices by 7% at the stadium, and it's the second time this season a price hike has occurred. I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
Okay, we'll talk about this, and then obviously we'll talk about what's going on tomorrow. Big news and everything. Listen, I understand we're living in a world of COVID, and people are losing money, and they need to make money. And I understand why some people do it, but a measly fucking 7%, a measly 7%, you can't cover that yourself. I mean, you take our money, or not my money, you take people's money from around the world, whether it be season tickets, whether it be size subscriptions, whether it be stuff from the shop, whether it be Skywalk, whether it be NFL, whether it be boxing, whether it be concerts, but you charge Tottenham Hotspur fans the most to go into the ground and the most to wear the shirt.
Yeah.
And what do Spurs fans get for this? Lies, bullshit, deflation, let down, disgrace. We get bantered. That everywhere we get battered everywhere. You guys really drive me up the fucking wall more than anything I could ever. Hearing Chelsea fans when I was there last week singing Antonio at us, and there's people that just sit there and take it.
Yeah.
Why? If we were going for league titles, if we were buying Vlahovic and you said, right, we're going to buy Vlahovic, but we need to up this by 7%. Every Spurs fan would be like, fucking up it by 10%. Go get Vlahovic, go get whoever. Show me where my money is going. Show me a team on the pitch that competes. Not a cinema, not a skywalk. I don't know why I'm pointing up there as if the skywalk's up on my lampshade. Apparently it is.
They probably want to make it that long, to be fair, actually, Brian. So, they might make it go around the whole city.
Maybe. But what? Show me where my money. Show me where the money's going. You put the players on the pitch that justify everything you're doing. You won't get a Spurs fan in the ground that'll say, "I've got no problem with 7%. I've got no problem." But when you but you know what? The 7% is probably to pay the full fuel costs of his trip to the Bahamas in his private jet.
Do you know what it is? Ronald Ndombele has probably had them out of house and home, so the fans have to pay for his budget.
It's disgusting. I'm doing it again. I think this is the second show on a week on the Irish Hotspur show where I'm going to do the Jerry Maguire. Show me the money. Show me where that's going. Show me why it's justified. So you can do that for 7%, but then you can go and take your money in the Spurs shop, and people can go and buy. Like you said, David, you're coming over for your dad's birthday, and you're going to go and buy your dad a Spurs shirt, which you're totally within your right to. I'm not going to stand in your way. This, like I said to you before, my not spending a penny is my choice.
Yeah.
My niece, 4 of my nephews that were born, first thing they wore was a Spurs baby grow by their uncle. The first thing they wore. My niece didn't get that because I would not keep tradition and give Levy money. So my niece went without. That's how serious. That's how serious I go with this shit. People ask how do I go. People ask how do I go to games. Thankfully, the circle we move in and the people we know right now, I get given tickets. They know I won't pay for them. And like, Brian, I've got a spare one in, you come. They know that I can't get to the games on a regular because of where I live. So my money doesn't go to him. It does not go to him. I don't give Ben and Simeon money for tickets. They're given to me. And I go there to scream Levy out. I go there, but this 7%, like I said, I understand with COVID and everything why prices have gone up. But you have the nerve to do this to Spurs fans in January before the Spurs-Arsenal game, after you've been knocked out of yet another semi-final without turning up, after you've gone to the Bahamas, after we were thinking about maybe toss a coin, let's play a game of thumb war, then maybe a game of paper, rock, scissors to see if we should say we might be registering a bid to maybe bid for Adama. Nonsense. This bullshit stops.
And I think it'd be different though, Brian, just quickly. It'd be different if it was your local pub or like, your local grocery or whatever it may be that raised the price of something by 7%. You would see that they're just at the end of the day, usually just small business owners just trying to make, ends meet, maybe potentially is the reasoning. But in this case, I mean, it's just not that excuse just doesn't apply.
Mate, listen, like you said, so basically the way I'm going to go back to Aston Villa. So in January, we've had a guy goes to the Bahamas, a guy muck about with all the Adama Traore and all the bollocks with Vlahovic, and Dybala's come back on the scene. He's probably away with Leonardo Damio talking about how the hell can I make a 10-year transfer? We might go for him. We might go for him. He's done that. He's seen us go out of a cup final. He's gone to the Bahamas. Aston Villa have come out and said, Steven Gerrard's been here for a bit. We asked him to have a look at his squad, tell him what he wants. He said he wanted Coutinho, and how often does a coach get to play with a player and speak? He wanted him, in he comes. Luca Digne wanted him, in he comes, who's been here less than Conte. And as much as I love Stevie Gerrard, and I love him, when people talk Scholes, Lampard, Gerrard, the top three, for me, it goes Gerrard. That simple. That's how good that man is. But when you're weighing up managerial skills, Conte, Gerrard, Conte is like, and we can't get him a player. And Aston Villa, did you see at the end of the interview when they're talking about the European Cup behind him? And he goes, yeah, it's coming up to 40 years of winning this. So we're having a huge thing in the summer to celebrate the anniversary of winning this great cup and what it brought. Yeah, okay, because we do stuff like that. We celebrate our past. He's erasing it.
Yeah,
he is erasing the past, and people like Tottenham Tantrum Gold, who are showing people what the past represented, what we went for, what we stood up for,
and they're calling for the past to be represented in terms of statues.
Yep. I mean, put it this way, man. The fact that we still haven't got Jimmy Greaves, I think is absolutely. And if you go back and look at everything, Daniel Levy hasn't even said anything about him. The club have said something about Jimmy Greaves. Former managers, players of Tottenham Hotspur and every other club around the country have talked about Jimmy Greaves. Not a single word from that parasite. Now getting on to what one of the people said in the chat, and the whole reason why I'm here and why I need to go first, because I need to get an early night. Because at 8 a.m. tomorrow, you'll find me outside Hotspur Way. The protest is on. There's not going to be a lot of us tomorrow unless people in the Harris Army are free and can get to Hotspur Way tomorrow. Because I'm going to be there with about 6 people, 7 if Ellie comes. And we're going down there every single day except match day. So we won't be there Wednesday. Tomorrow's a big day because it's obviously press conference day. So you've got a good chance of Sky being there, BT being there, Alistair Gold, all the other reporters, Jonathan Vill, yada, 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 yada. So we're going to be there. We've only got the one banner right now because all the other banners are at the pub. So I'm going to have more for Thursday. But I said when I came back last time, and it was on this channel and this exact show where I read out the changes for Spurs opening statement and what we stood for, and said we're going to be protesting at the NFL. And the NFL one, we didn't get the numbers we wanted. We didn't. It's clear to see. And I came on this channel and said it, but we got the exposure. We got into the New York Times. We got into Alistair Gold. We got into Last Word. We got into all the platforms that we needed to. Because as I've said, this isn't Sugar Days where you just turn up at the ground and it happens. It's a social media world. It's a business world now. It's not just the club. You need to go for sponsors. You need to make awareness. So we're going to be there tomorrow from 9 a.m. probably to about 4 p.m. We're going to be protesting. There will be banners. We will be shouting. We will be chanting. We all know what happened last time I was here with Levy out in the Manchester United game. Not saying we were solely the reason for a change, but I know we had a huge impact on it. And like people know, I live in Toronto, Canada, and I'm here only because of Bob Spur. And I've extended my stay till the 20th of February so I can be here for Bob Spur, his kids, Kim and Tammy. So I am giving it a damn good go again. And we were going to go very, very quiet in January. We even posted saying, do you know what? January, we're going to go quiet so people don't go, haha, Levy, what are you doing, you idiots? It's still January. Yeah. Well, I knew what was going to happen in January. And now we're at the 18th or 17th, going into the 18th, whatever date it is. And we have 12 days to make an impact. 12 days to get our message heard where we know the media are going to be there. 12 days to try and say, what the fuck are you doing right now? Here we are at the 18th. Once again, same window, different shit. Same shit, different window. Let's get that right. So we're going to be there. And I said to people, and I've said it on this channel, I will die trying to get this bastard out. If it kills me, I lived a successful life. If it kills me getting this bastard out of my club, and I can start watching my club from up there, at least I can do it with a smile on my face again. Because that parasite is nowhere near it. And we saw after the Chelsea second leg, there were so many people in so many chats, and social media blew up. Levy out, time to protest. And I kept saying, well, I've been protesting and I've been saying this, but we're hoping there's more numbers. And then with that, I mean, you can ask me questions in a set, but also just to let you know, this is an exclusive. Dave and Jack know what I'm about to say. Obviously, I'm going to be there live tomorrow. And Tottenham on tour. And is that the link, David?
Yeah. Oh, well, that's the link to your channel. Do you want me to post the one for the actual show?
That's it. Post that one, the link to the channel at the end. And whilst he's finding the link, we're 10 away from 2,500. 10.
Come on.
Help us get to 2,500. The next aim is obviously 3,000. But tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern time, 2 p.m. English time, there's going to be a very special show, an exclusive, only on Tottenham on Tour, because we will be the only channel that has a creator down at the training ground. We will be going live where Brian Ireland and Adam Clark from Tottenham on Tour will be joined by the royalty that is Jack Kanicki and David Harris. It will be a day at the training ground. It will be a Leicester preview. It will be a fan show. And it will be me popping in every so often to give you live footage from what's happening at the training ground. If anyone's about the chanting, the singing, and we are going for this. We are going for this. So thank you, Alfie. So cheers, Jordan. So literally, thank you, brother. Listen, anyone can get down there. Appreciated. If not, all I ask of you, if you can't get there and there's no obligation, I am going to be tweeting a hell of a lot of shit tomorrow. And then it will get retweeted via Tottenham on Tour. I need everyone to retweet what I'm doing and what Tottenham on Tour are doing, and just get this out there so we can get our club back. That's all I want. I want to be able to meet Jack on the other side of the pond and meet him for a game and go into a game with that smile that he's got on his face, thinking like Pete Poch that, you know what, we're not losing today. In fact, we're not drawing today. We are going to absolutely smash this team to bits.
Yeah.
Not, oh my God, are we going to have Doherty at left back?
I mean, I can't wait for, my first ever game to be Harry Winks, starting in center defensive midfield. That will be, a real come around. There'll be a merry-go-round. But Brian, I mean, you couldn't be more spot on. I mean, I would say everybody just stay tuned for tomorrow. Watch this space in terms of Tottenham on Tour. Please head on over there. There are 2 links that you can't miss. One to subscribe to the channel, the other one to see the stream tomorrow. And everybody, you will get also Brian's reactions also from the training ground itself there as well.
Yeah. We've hit 2,500. We've hit 2,500. So Harris Army, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Like I said, the channel is called Tottenham on Tour, people. There's a lot of stuff, and we're going to be doing this daily. Whilst I'm there, we're going to be doing this daily. And like I said, I'm sure tomorrow there'll be some Levianers going, ha ha, look, there's only 6 of them. And then hopefully I'll be able to turn around and say, ha ha, Sky Sports News come out and broadcasted it. Ha ha, Ali Gold has reported about it, and everyone else. That people have got to they've got to separate. They're not even. Thank you. Why has that happened to me live on there? Separate. We're not going there in the hope of getting Daniel Levy to go, oh, they're picking on me. I'll sell the club. That's not the aim. The aim is to get as much worldwide exposure to help fans see that we are not accepting this. And the more flack that comes on this club and the more heat we put on it, you will have Nike and all the corporate places going, Daniel, what are you doing?
Yeah.
This is not what I signed up for. I've pumped money into you. The NFL will swallow, and Jack can verify this, they will swallow Daniel Levy whole. If the NFL gets any negative press regarding anything going on that ground, the NFL go, what the hell do you think you're doing?
Yeah.
We ain't taking this. Go shove your ground and stick it where the sun don't shine. And we need to make Daniel Levy fall to his knees.
Yeah.
And the only way you get this man to fall to his knees is stop giving money. I keep saying to you, when you go to the stadium, don't buy beers. I don't mind obviously go in and buy one, and if you're going with your kid and they need a drink, obviously that's completely different. But if you're Levy out, don't sit in that concourse getting 5, 6, 7 beers. Then after the game, 5, 6, 7 beers. Go out to one of the many pubs down the high road.
Yeah.
Go into the cafe or chicken or the pie shop that are also needing trade and haven't whacked their prices up 7%, but are fighting to survive because of goddamn COVID. Yeah. Stop giving your money to him. Things stop.
Yeah.
The second that till, can you imagine? He's raised it by 7%. If the takings go down 7%, he will do his fucking bollocks.
Yeah.
They'll all be like, what's going on? Them losing 7% is a huge amount of money.
Yeah. Spot on. Spot on. Well, look, Brian, we have a long list, so we may keep
You
it moving.
go.
My man, I'll be there tomorrow. I'll be on the street.
I've got I've got to go get my beauty sleep, and believe me, I need a lot of that because I've got an early day tomorrow. So listen, everyone in the Harris Army, thank you for getting Tottenham on tour past 2,500. Come and watch us tomorrow with these two. You know I love you both. You know I love all the Harris Army. And as always, Levy out.
Big up, Brian.
Big up,
Shake
Brian.
that wallet.
Shake
that wallet,
exactly.
Mr. Levy. Shake the wallet out.
That-
But I guess we move on, David. You know, a lot of important information there from Brian. Everybody, Tottenham on tour. You can find David and I nice and early, I feel like, for my time in the USA in the morning. I believe around 2 p.m. in the UK as well. You see David and I over there just chatting with Brian Ireland, as well as Adam Clark, who you probably know quite well, basically talking everything from a Leicester preview to also as well what Brian is going to be doing over at the training ground.
No, 100%. It's sure going to be a good day. That's for sure. And just quickly, what we were talking about on the price hike on the food and beverage and stuff like that. Look, today, me and Jack won't be giving our thoughts on it. We will be doing that tomorrow. Today is just all about getting everyone else's thoughts on things. But I have a lot of strong feelings on it, and I'm not happy with it. The bottom dude, says, how has Levy managed to keep Conte calm? Conte's not calm. This whole thing that people think Conte is calm, it's not true. Look at his press conference. The one that he done, that I said it. I was on it straight away. I was on it like a flash. It sounds similar to what Pochettino said in 2019. I'm not the manager. I'm the coach. I mean, people can say, oh, but it's two different contexts. Like, you know, Conte's early into his. It doesn't matter. The thing is, they're both saying the same thing when it comes to improvements in the squad. They were both letting people know about their frustration and their irritation. He is not happy. He is not calm. He is doing his nothing. Believe me. Look, Conte's a winner. There's no way he's sitting there calm right now. No way. But big up the bottom, do it. Truth Set Your Free says the only transfer Levy is doing are into Swiss bank accounts. 100%, my man. 100%.
Probably also movie ticket transfers, I guess now, you know, he's probably working on Truth. You know, maybe, you know, one of the games gets canceled, you know, you get refunded in 3 movies to Spider-Man or something like that. That could be also a transfer as well. But seriously, I mean, it's, I don't even know if there are going to be any transfers at this rate. Truth, like I was said before, every time the clock ticks, it's just getting louder and louder.
Yeah, 100%. Big up, Truth Set Your Free, my man. Really appreciate it, Sport. It's good to see you doing well. And Faz Radfire says, let's judge the transfer window on Feb 1st. Come on, you Spurs. And on Feb 1st, we'll be bringing you the Shawnee and Brian debate. Levy in versus Levy out. Be very structured. They'll all get a certain amount of time to get their points across, a certain amount of time to kind of give their rebuttal on certain points so that we can keep it moving and make it a very, very good debate for everybody. But big up, Faz Radfire, my man. Really appreciate the support, my man. Really do appreciate it. Everybody keep smashing that like button. Keep smashing that subscribe button if you are new. Feel free to get your super chats in, guys. Always great talking points, like I said. And it's a great way to support me and Jack on our journey on YouTube as well. And feel free to get your memberships like Cody Masters here as well. Big up, Cody, my man. If you're a white membership or gold membership, the link is up in the community section. Do come on and have your say, my man. Do come on and have your say. But look, we'll keep this moving because, like I said, we have a long list to get through. So let's keep it moving. Who is next on our wonderful list? And it is the one and only Brad Matthews. Brad, my man, how are you keeping?
Oh, I'm doing well. Yeah, it's Monday. You know, Monday's always not the best day of the week, but yeah, I'm fine. And a couple of things. Great news on Bob. Yeah, see, I mean, that's absolutely brilliant news. Obviously, it's going to take time for him to get back to 100%, but that's really, really, really good and really promising. And thanks, Brian, for letting us know that, and also keeping us updated in the various WhatsApp chats. And also, what can I say? I mean, Brian really said it all in that 15-20 minutes. There's nothing really I can sort of add to that.
Where do you want to take the conversation? What do you want to talk
Well,
about?
yeah, this is it, isn't it? Well, I guess
you want to talk about Ndombele maybe being isolated.
Well, yeah. I mean, I keep saying what I've said, and not that our club will ever do it because it's not sort of a sensible thing they would do. Is that they're all going on about Ndombele not getting the 65 million back for him, which is fair enough. But you could sell him and Dele Alli and probably make that money. You know, it's not rocket science. You know, but they don't seem to do that. You know, they seem to hang on. And I don't really see the point if they keep on arguing that they can't. They have to sell to buy. What's a loan deal going to do? It's going to do nothing, is it really? That doesn't bring any money in. So, you know, we still have to pay your wages if you loan them out to someone. So, yeah, it's yeah.
Do you feel like a swap deal might be best, you know, in some scenario? I feel like what could be the case is maybe you buy some good player from whatever club, you know, maybe central midfield kind of position, and you kind of throw Tanguy in there as a sweetener because it's kind of like, listen, this guy has all the potential. It's just, I mean, he is a bit of a, you know, a working project. He's a bit of, you know, kind of a drama, you know, case. And maybe, you know, certain clubs that outside the Premier League might think, you know, if they're already paying us, you know, to get, you know, this guy off of our books, and then as well giving us somebody in, you know, in return that maybe could turn out good. I mean, maybe that wouldn't be a bad way to get rid of it.
I would, yeah, depending on the caliber of the player. As we've been talking about, I think it's got to the stage now where we're on the verge of top four, and I worked it out. If we, I mean, you know, saying we can win all our games in hand, I mean that very rarely happens. But if we did win all our games in hand, we'd be in third. We'd be above Chelsea.
Yeah.
You know, so that just shows you the potential of this club for this season. But I still think we need 2 or 3 players, extra players in this window to do that, to achieve that. One of them being a striker to play alongside or to play with Harry Kane. Now, I think your top strikers like your Valoviches and that, I don't think that's going to happen this window, but I think we're in with a chance next window. You know, the summer window. So why not go into the Championship? There must be some decent strikers in there. You know, just get a player in from there for a bit. You know, it doesn't seem to be that difficult for me to do. And as we've seen, other clubs have bought players. You know, so
I mean, it's only difficult when you're at Tottenham, though, Brad. I mean, no other club sits there, you know, given every reason why they can't do transfers. No other club sits there and puts out the logistics of the transfer window. They just get it done. No other club sits there knowing they need to rebuild and then let an announcement come out that there's 65 apartments and a cinema to be built in the middle of a transfer window.
The timing of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think I said this on one of the other streams yesterday. Was that we always get these reports, Spurs are looking at such and such a player and this player and that player. Well, hang on a minute. You should be looking at these players in all the times up to the window. Yeah. So once the window's open, you go for those players. You don't suddenly on January the 1st think, right, let's have a look for some players now. You know, it's just it's ludicrous. And it's you know, I'm sick of tired of hearing that we're looking at players. But getting back to your point, Jack, I think if a swap deal was for a decent player, and it doesn't have to be a midfielder, it could be any of the 3 positions that we're looking at.
My thinking is it could be like, you know, Kessié is rumored to be on that pre-contract with us, but I think the biggest issue with the pre-contract is we need like a central midfielder now. Like we just need players for now. I mean, as much as a pre-contract could help us, who knows? We might finish up in 7th or 8th place, and then that just ends up being, you know, not as crucial as we probably think it could have been. And so that's why I feel like if you throw in a Tanguy into maybe some sort of deal or negotiation, it's like you don't have to worry about necessarily replacing that player that we're buying right now. Here's an absolute lard ass who, you know, has all the potential in the world, you know, potentially to come in and, you know, do something that for the rest of the 6 months could help you out. And I feel like as much as people probably don't rate Tanguy and Ndombele, you probably would say in a foreign league of some sort, you might think that some manager out there would probably think, you know what, like this guy's already going to be leaving anyway. He's already going to be going to a club like Spurs. What if we got, you know, this player instead, you know, maybe to just fill the void and who might actually work out for us?
Definitely. I mean, I personally don't think Ndombele is a Premiership player. I think he's probably suited to other leagues. I don't think he fits the Premiership. You know, he's not well, we're supposed to be the fittest he's been, but he's not that rugged to play in the Premiership. You know, so you could do that with some of the European teams, but then, you know, there must be some Championship players that, you know, for 6 months could do a job. You know, we just need strengthening. We've got a fairly decent team there, but we just need strengthening, you know, with injuries and that sort of thing. But yeah, it is frustrating, very, very frustrating. And, you know, you know, I get suckered in by clickbait. There was one on The Athletic today, which is, you know, a fairly reputable site, saying, you know, Spurs are in talks about Traore. And I clicked on it, and there's nothing at all. It's just basically saying, they're interested in him. interested. That's all I keep hearing, interested. It's like,
yeah.
I said to somebody the other day, I'm actually interested in Jenna Coleman, but it don't mean that I'm going to get Jenna Coleman, does it? So, it's like,
we're always interesting though, Brad. I mean, like right now, there's deals that can be done. And I mean, you're 100% spot on with where you're going with this. Like, look, obviously, ideally, we want our signings to be able to come in, hit the ground running the here and now, but also with a long-term view that they're going to be here. I mean, we don't want to get ourselves into another situation that we're in now where we've brought in players because we could get them and they haven't been good enough. But, I mean, there's plenty of deals that can be done. Adama Traore definitely can be done. Once they're looking to sell, they already have his replacement lined up ready to go.
Exactly, yeah.
Jesse Lingard's another one. I mean, go all out, push the ball out, get him in. It's about helping the here and now until the summer transfer window. That's exactly what this is about. Like, people that thinking we're going to get Vlahovic, that we're going to go and get all these mad players this window, forget about it. You want the real transfer news, just tune in here. I tell you what's bollocks, what's not. I see it. I sniff it from a mile away. Look, what we need to do is just get players in for the here and now and help Conte out, because this ship could very well crumble very, very shortly, Brad. I don't know about you, but I do want to actually talk to you about the attendances as well, because I know you do go together, but I'll get onto that in a minute. And just quickly, Cody Masters, my man, if you were supposed to say something, just put it into the chat and I will bring it up. If it's just a donation, my man, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
He did say this, though. He said, excellent Tottenham Hotspur YouTube channel. Keep up the awesome work. Cody, hopefully we see you maybe on the fan show tonight. If not, really just appreciate all the support, as well as just appreciate the donations, and as well as you just, showing us the support that really does go a long way. And also it's good to have you part of the Harris Army, my man, part of the family as well. But big yourself up, Cody.
No, big up, Cody, my man. I really do appreciate the support, brother. I really do appreciate it. And then David says, Spurs fans, we deserve better. Hope more people can join Brian tomorrow. I know I would if I was in the UK. Big up, Brian, and everyone else protesting. No, 100%. Look, if there is anybody out there that is off, and is available, and then can get down and do it, go down and join them. I mean, we need the numbers down there. But look, I also understand that there people have kids, people have work and stuff like that, and it may not be convenient. But if you can, at least just pop in the stream throughout the day and just show your support that way.
And check the Twitter feeds and retweet, as Brian was saying earlier. Just retweet, because that will help as well, because that will help exponentially, because that will go to other people and then they'll retweet. So that's basically what I'm doing tomorrow. I'm working from home, but I'll have my phone as I normally do, on my desk, and I've got Brian on the notification bell, so every time it clicks, I can retweet. So yeah.
100%. But big up, David. Really appreciate the support, my man. Really appreciate it. And this one's for you, Brad, from Ellie. She says, I agree with Brad. We need 3 more players, or we would be overtaken by the clubs who have invested in new players. No signings. I'm afraid it finished our chances of making
Tottenham. It does, because you're looking at Manchester. Looking at Manchester United now. I think Manchester United will probably come good at some stage this season, so we want to be well ahead of them when they do. We want to get to that spot where they can't catch us. We're seeing West Ham faltering at the moment, but they're going for a bad. But they might have a decent run near the end of the season. So we're in a situation now. I don't think to getting to Ellie and getting 3 players in, which is what I've said. I'm very worried about our team's mental capacity in big games. We've seen a great run under Conte in the Premier League, but we've been playing teams that we should be beating. Okay, the Liverpool game, understrength Liverpool, understrength Tottenham, that was a good game and we played well in that game. But I've now seen, once on TV and once at the ground, 2 semi-final games against Chelsea where we absolutely didn't turn up. It was appalling. I was so disgusted watching those 2 games. In fact, I left the full time on Wednesday night. I was just stunned. I couldn't even get angry. I was just stunned at how poor that we were, and that makes me really worried that this is the same team that have failed before, and some of the same players, and that's why I think we need to freshen it up and get 3 players in, that haven't got that monkey on their back. So that does worry me. So the Arsenal game, until I heard that they had all their players out, that worried me. But I think we would have beaten them on Sunday if the bastards had agreed to turn up. But so that's another story. But yeah, we're going to be playing some big games. We got Chelsea away from home. Well, I'm not looking forward to that game. Going on past experiences, we've got to play Manchester United away. We've got to play West Ham at home. We've got to play Leicester on Wednesday. Now Leicester could be in the mix at some stage. You know, we've got these big games coming up where we have to win, but we can't afford to lose them because we need to get into that top four. Because you know, I think with players and with a top four spot, so we get the Champions League money in, and with, you know, as Brian was saying, one of the best managers in world football. We can do it. We can do it. He will mould a team, given the resources. He will mould the team into a winning team. Maybe not next season, but the season after. And if he feels that he's moulding them into a winning team, he'll stay. But I'm not so sure he will if he doesn't get that. He doesn't get that back. You know, I personally think he'll be here next season because he signed that 18-month contract. But
are you worried about his words the other day, though, Brad, where he was basically repeating exactly what Potts said?
He was, yeah. It was very similar.
Because basically what he was saying, he was like, I have to get the very best out of what I have here. And I've gone to them with recommendations, but there's nothing I can do, basically, is what he's saying.
And called himself a teacher of football, not a manager of football, like saying he doesn't have anything to do with the operations. All that he's responsible for is just teaching football to the players, which seemed a bit intentional, that wording. I agree with what both of you have said there, but I actually read into it that when he said, I've told the club what is needed, now it's up to the club. To me, that was saying, this is what Tottenham Hotspur Football Club need to be successful. So you've got to ask yourselves as a club, do you want to be successful? That's what I got out of it, because that, to me, is, from what I know of Conte, that's the sort of person he is. We saw his comments, didn't he, a few seasons when he was at Chelsea about, you know, to Chelsea not winning the Champions League is a disaster. To Tottenham, it's you know, oh well, never mind, you know, sort of thing. And so he's got that winning mentality, and I think he hasn't come here to win League Cups. You know, he's come here to win titles. He's come here to win stuff. And with the resources we have, you know, that is available to this club, that's a possibility. But they've just got to back it. And I just don't understand why. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this Brian versus Sean show.
Yeah, it's going to be.
I just can't understand why we don't put the extra money in to get these players, which would, if you get Champions League football, you're going to get that money back. If you're a successful football team, you get that money back. The higher you finish up the league, you get more money. Yeah, and it's the same with the. It's the same with the homes and the seminar. Okay, yeah, that is part of the whole. That's part of the whole Northumberland development scheme. We got money from the government because on the basis that we've redeveloped the area. The area needs redeveloping. We need affordable homes, that sort of thing. But the centre of all that has got to be the football club, a successful football club. Because if you're Mr. Chip King, if you've got 60,000 people coming every couple of weeks, you're going to get more income than you are with 30,000 people coming every couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And the way we're going, I think, David, you were going to ask me about the attendances dwindling. Well, okay, we've had Christmas. I couldn't attend Boxing Day because I was in isolation, as people probably know. And I think that might have has affected the attendances to a degree. But I know for a fact if we start playing poorly, then yeah, that will definitely affect attendances, and people will, they won't come in because, well, why am I coming all this way, you know, if we to watch a rubbish football team, and that's the thing that upsets me the most. I do like the stadium, but I want to go there and look forward to seeing a great football team winning football matches.
Brad, let me ask you a question. Right, we have the most expensive season ticket in England. And England is the most expensive season tickets in Europe. So that means we're the most expensive season ticket in Europe. Fans that pay for the season tickets, they pay 700 more than what Man City fans do. Us fans, we pay the most expensive replica jersey in Europe. Now, I will be going into more detail on this tomorrow. I'm putting stuff to Sean. I don't want to give too much away tonight. But as well, you know, now that it's the second hike on food and drink. Are you sick of paying top dollar to support this club, but not get anything on the football pitch in return?
Yeah, exactly, and that's what as I say, that's what Brian was saying, and yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, it's like, well, you're right. You know, I don't mind paying extra bit of money for my beers or my pies or whatever, or even my season ticket, if I know I'm going to be watching a team that's going to be playing good football, constantly challenging for things year in, year out. It's like, it's
a team
like,
that's exciting to talk about, a team that's fun to talk about, basically, is all it comes down to.
Exactly. And that's the thing. And it's, I mean, I think if you looked at it economically, I actually had a friend who did a degree on, not degree, was it when you do a thing on something?
Paper, I don't know.
Yeah, he did something on why Liverpool have got cheap season tickets, and it comes down to the affluence of the area. So if you've got a poorer city who learn less in wages, then you're going to have cheaper season tickets. And let's face it, London compared to the rest of the country, London and the South East compared to the rest of the country is more affluent. As far as I'm aware, it's more affluent. So I think
the actual area we're in London though isn't.
No. As I said, no, Tottenham certainly isn't. But what I'm saying is, I think that's why you find that Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham charge top dollar for their season tickets, because it's a more affluent area and they can get it. Let's be honest, they can get away with it because people will pay it. But no, I certainly think that for all the money that we're putting into this club, we want to see a big football team, because at the end of the day, if that doesn't happen in the next 3-4 years, people will stop going.
Yeah,
and then where does it leave your money people at the club? So they have to, and this is. I'm sorry. This is. I'm 61 now. This is the last chance saloon for this club, as far as I'm concerned, of becoming a successful club. If this doesn't work with Conte and we don't back him and he walks, and as Ryan was saying, who do we go to after Conte?
Yeah.
Then it's, to me, that's it for me. I mean, I'll still go. Of course I will. I'll still go. But that'll be it for me as far as seeing Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. I'm sick and tired. I know it's quite a clever, funny song, but I'm sick and tired of hearing Arsenal fans singing "They won the league in black and white." That really hurts. It hurts me the other night when the Chelsea fans started singing "Antonio, Antonio." That really hurt as well. And it's happening again. It's happening again. And the thing that I hate about that is you can't argue with it. You say, well, yeah, it's happening again.
Yeah. Sometimes we find ourselves making excuses on behalf of Levy, which is also when it comes to that sort of, banter. I completely agree, Brad. But yeah, sorry. Yeah.
I was going to say there's no excuse anymore. Okay, look, we're not the richest club in the world. We're not Man City moneyballs. We're not Chelsea moneyballs. We're not even Newcastle, but we're certainly not poor. We're certainly not poor. I won't go into it because it's quite a controversial article, but I was actually reading an article on Joe Lewis today. This guy's a billionaire. This guy is worth £5 billion.
He made a profit over the pandemic.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I could go on all night about disaster capitalism and all this sort of stuff. About I'm not the biggest fan of billionaires, put it that way. But
yeah,
whoever they are, but I just don't think he likes football. I don't think he's he might come from the area, but I don't think he's a fool. I think there's a quote. I can't remember the quote, but there's a quote from Harry Redknapp when Harry went saying that he doesn't go to the games because he's not interested. So why is he going to suddenly pump his personal money into this club?
I mean, of course he's not interested. They planned to him in the Chelsea game, and he's sitting there on his phone. He couldn't give a shit what was going on the pitch.
And Lewis doesn't even know that the games are going on.
Well, exactly. Yeah, Lewis is in the Bahamas or wherever it might be.
Well, he doesn't even know that. He probably doesn't even know yet that the North London derby was canceled. He probably just found out, just a few minutes ago. So, but Brad, you've brought up a lot of brilliant points. But maybe any final words, maybe in regards to the Harris Army, any maybe kind of final parting points?
Well, we could talk about the North London derby. They've loaned another player out today. They've loaned another player out today. Oh, fancy that. Yeah, fancy that.
Pablo Mari.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if the game against Liverpool goes ahead, wouldn't it? That'd be interesting. So no, I'm disgusted in them. I'm disgusted in the Premier League as well for doing what they did, because I think that you should, when you look at your squad of fit players, if they've gone to the African Cup of Nations, or you've recently learned, well, that's tough. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Bayern Munich or Dortmund fielded a 15-year-old or something on the weekend. They've got the under-20, the Arsenal under-23s played, so they've got players there. I think someone, Stan Gilmore, I think it was, put all of the players.
Two things that don't apply to the rule. You have African Cup of Nations, which like you said, boohoo, but, it's just what you have to deal with. The second part is injuries. I mean, every club has injuries. I don't care how long the list is or how short the list is. That has nothing to do with maybe getting a game postponed. It just sincerely doesn't. And then the third one is COVID, but then there was only one COVID case. So it seems like the whole reason the whole thing was canceled was for two reasons that don't even apply to the rule. And I think the big problem that I have, Brad personally, is that we see 1 week them cancel it over 7-8 COVID cases. Maybe fair, like debate, up for grabs. But the fact that it's been canceled for one COVID case, and it just has to do with their mismanagement of their own squad and what they had available for this January month is somehow then, get a free pass on. It shouldn't be that way. And that's what I found ridiculous, because people were asking me the day before, oh, do you think this game's going to be canceled? And I said, how on earth could it be? Because the only reasons they have nothing to do with the rule. So why on earth would it be canceled? And yet it was canceled. And I looked like an idiot for even saying that.
Well, and they would have had 13 players if Xhaka had got himself sent off, So, I mean, that's not our fault, is it?
And they would have happened if they didn't loan out the two players in the days leading up to it. But we're also asking the wrong question, though, guys. I mean, we had an outbreak. We had to close down the training ground. We were forced to close down the training ground and everything else. Now, why is nobody asking why Arsenal's training ground isn't closed down? Because the Premier League called it off under COVID. So why is the training ground not closed down?
Exactly. And we got chucked out of a European competition as well for that. So and we asked to rearrange.
The only reason why we got chucked out is because we asked them to move that Leicester game that ended up being postponed anyway, so we could play the Reds game. So we shafted them.
Exactly. And I'll tell you another thing. Now people, Harris Army out there, Google this, but we all know the situation about how Arsenal got into Arsenal at the end of before the First World War. Arsenal should have been relegated from the first division as it was then, and Tottenham should have been promoted from the second division as it was then. And then the war broke out. And then in 1919, they had all these meetings, and it turned out that Arsenal were kept in the first division. Spurs were kept in the second division. And I can't remember the name of the guy, but one of the guys on the board, the Football Association, where it was board that decided all this, was on the Arsenal board as well. So
just like
Google it and get the exact details of it. But that's what I believe happened. So, it's happened before. And that was the other thing, that on the Piccadilly line, Arsenal Stadium, Arsenal is the only Piccadilly line station that's actually named after a football club. It was, as we all know, Gillespie Road. And the London Underground said, no, we can't name places, after. And again, they had a person in London Underground or on the British Transport, whoever it was, who managed to pull a few favours in, and they got it named Arsenal. So it's happened before. And I mean, it on the bright side, it gives us a lot of ammunition now. And I'll tell you what, if Sunday's North London Derby wasn't going to be feisty, it certainly is going to be feisty now.
I hope it does.
And I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to bring it up in any way I can at our finance meetings that we have, because there's two of the people in the finance department are Arsenal fans. I brought it up today.
What a coincidence.
Yeah, so how was the weekend, mate? Well, we've got the North London Derby, except for you lot chickened out of it. So.
I mean, I think they even know it themselves, Brad, to be fair, which even speaks to how ridiculous it is. They can't even put up, a good argument for it. But listen, Brad, as always, a fantastic call-in, a fantastic,
Cheers, guys.
A bit of wisdom that you've given us. I've really loved your points. We've given you some tough questions, to be fair. Some tough questions, to be fair, Brad, and you handled them quite well, my man. Great use of the time. Good to see you. Just quickly, maybe any places, if people wanted to see a bit more of you, maybe any places that maybe they could find you in the next coming week.
Yeah, if you want to contact me, at Brad Hotspur's my Twitter handle. I'm on Tommy Talks Ball occasionally. I'm on Let's Talk Tottenham occasionally. If I'm not going to the game, I'm on Spurs Eurasian TV on the Sundays. They're all really, really top shows with top people on there. Mainly the people you see on this show, actually, but yeah, there's top people on there, and I'm not including myself in that. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, you can find me there. That's it really. The music channel will be out. Hopefully, I'm planning March now, because I leave my job at the end of February, so I'll have all the time in the world to get it together come March. So that's hopefully when that's going to happen. And I'm still working. I will still work on another little jingle for you guys as well. So
appreciate it. Appreciate it. Well, we appreciate also you taking your free time as well to not only come on this fan show, but as well as give us a little jingle as well for the Irish Hotspur. I mean, two things. So David and I are very
Who knows? I might do it live one day.
Looking forward to it.
We definitely will get it live. We definitely will, my man. But look, honestly, let us know when that music channel is out, and we'll plug it across to everybody, and hopefully give you a good lift off, my man. Brad,
cheers,
thank you very much, and hopefully you can get back to the game.
There's been great guests before me. There's great guests after me, so keep on watching, people. Take care, guys.
See you
later,
brother. We'll catch you soon.
My man. Oh, it's great to see Brad's face again. It was great. I had to bring it up there quickly again a second time. It's great to see his face. Big up, Brad, my man. Really appreciate it. But look, let's keep this moving. It is a busy one tonight, and it's a guy. Look, everybody. You may not know the face, but you may actually, because he's been sending in the fan cams and been doing a bloody good job of it. And he's a guy that I always like. He's a really nice guy. And, a little secret, but anytime he's working down my way, we do sneak across the road to the local cafe for a cappuccino and a chocolate eclair. It's my man, Ollie. Ollie, how we keeping, brother?
How are you getting on? You all right?
All good, my man.
Good to have you on, my man. And like I said, I said it to you in the back end, but, I'll be honest, like for someone who I hadn't seen on many of the fan shows before, I was going to say, like, I really loved, your kind of synopsis of all the games, because it really felt like not only did you get your point across on what kind of, irked you or bothered you, but you also would cover like every chance that happened, every, performance that went wrong. So I'll be fair. I mean, you summarized games also quite well, my man.
Do you want to know what? It's actually a brilliant idea what you came up with to do that for people who, may not have the confidence to come on live, and it just gives them a chance to, get on, say a few words, and it's brilliant, and it's something new as well. So I have to say, fair play to the both of you for doing that, and I love doing it. It's great, and I'm finally on. So I've been meaning to come on for ages.
He's a perfect example then, everybody. He's a perfect example. You could start with the fan cams. If you don't feel like getting on maybe on one of these, you can start with the fan cams like Ollie has, and then you move on your way to the fan shows. But also as well, who knows? Like maybe you'll have excellent cameos like Ollie has had on the fan cams. So might as well just send them in to David or send them in to me, however you feel like doing it. Everything's down below in the description if you would like to do that. But Oliver, I mean, what do you want to talk about? Anything that's kind of bothering you, crossing your mind?
When I wanted to come on originally, I was going to try and come on and put a positive spin on things, but when I'll have to listen to Brian and Brad, I suppose some of the things he said is absolutely spot on. So it's hard to come up with some positives. So I'm going to try though.
Yeah, deliver some. We like to keep it balanced and fair here. So give us your point of view. Don't be deterred by what other people have said. Look, a lot of stuff they said has come correct, but Ollie, I want to hear what you have to say. Give me some positive spins on it.
Right. The one thing I want to kind of get across first is, it's January. We haven't signed anyone yet, but we need 4 players, don't we? Everyone knows we need that centre midfielder, the centre back, the right wing back, and the forward. Would you really want them all in this window? Like really, four of them in the January? Like, would they all be great signings in January? Like, I'd like to think that Conte's been told that the budget was spent in the summer. Conte doesn't come into teams mid-season. He's never done it before, has he? Did he do it once in Italy? Some small I don't know, but
I don't believe he has. I think you're right.
I just want to believe that he's been told that here, you're going to get money in the summer. Obviously, we need 1 or 2 in January anyway. Yeah. And that when the summer comes, he'll get the money what he needs. Like he doesn't need City money. He just needs like a decent budget so that he can improve the team. So I suppose I'm hoping that he gets that. And like Brian's right as well. I think Brian's right for going down and trying to protest and giving it a good go, because like if they get any sort of spotlight, it might. They're not going to get him to leave the club like in 5 minutes, but it might get him to spend some money and show a bit of ambition, So I fully support what they're doing, but I'm just hoping that we need 1 or 2 in January, and then get the real players in the summer. Because the ones we get in January, we want them to be gems. We don't want to get 4 duds in.
Yeah. And let me ask you on these January signings, Ollie. Would you prefer we got players that have already played in the Premier League and proven they can? Is it important that we look for that option in January and not maybe bring in players from abroad that might need time to adapt, and that we bring in players that have played in England and they're ready to hit the ground running and we know they're capable to hit the ground running?
Yeah, ideally Premier League, yeah, because you know what you're getting, I suppose, and with they're not going to, if you bring someone in from abroad, they're not going to get that pre-season what you would usually kind of get to bed in. So I suppose here, I'm not Adama Traore's biggest fan, but I suppose here it looks like we are going to get him. I'm not certain of it, but it's coming up all on my Twitter feed that it's like a lot of people are saying that it's even done. I know people are saying it might be a loan, it might be a permanent move. I don't know, but it looks like I'd be surprised if it's February 1st and he's not our player. So I suppose if we get him in, if Conte believes that he can turn him into a right wing back, it's gonna be a plus for us. I'd probably prefer to see him there as a right wing back than Emerson.
I'm liking the positivity that you're bringing, Ollie, to be fair. And also, as well, I think you even brought up a good point. As much as we know we need signings right now, to maintain this top 4 run, we also have to be realistic. And there are no teams that should be rebuilding in the January window. It's perhaps the worst possible time to do so. I mean, not only can you not get the best players available, but you're paying, a lot more. You're also, just certain players are just not even on the menu when it comes to, even making bids as well. So I think you're to a degree. I mean, as much as we know we need players for the here and now, we also have to realize that 4 signings, even 3 signings, as much as I feel like we need 3 signings, it's a lot easier said than done. And I hate to come up with excuses for Levy, but it's the most difficult window in order to improve the squad. And maybe it's a shame we left it until now, but I think you brought up some good points there.
I don't want to come across as a Levy fan either. I'm not. I hate Levy
I don't
for
like to make
Pochettino,
for him, but
and I hate him for sacking Mourinho before that cup final as well. I'm not a Mourinho fan, but I hate him for them 2 things, what he did, And another thing is, what really bugs me about Levy is that he didn't back Pochettino, and then he spent all that money just before he left in 2019. He spent a bomb that summer. Spent 40 on Lo Celso, was it? 60 on Ndombele, 24 on Sessegnon, and 10 on Jack Clark. That's a lot of money.
We overpaid on all of them as well. Actually, very anti-Levy as well. We actually overpaid on them when you think about it.
Imagine if Conte had that budget in the summer.
Yeah.
Imagine.
The thing is, though, Ollie, sorry, go on. Sorry.
I'll just say, even imagine if Conte had the money what we spent this summer. We spent. I know Romero was an obligation to buy, but the money spent, it's an obligation to buy. We have to pay it. So we actually spent 100 million this summer.
Yeah. The thing is, we do spend money. It's just where we've been allocating the money the last few years. And let's be honest, that's what has us in this situation. But it also doesn't help that we went 3 windows without signing players. And then all around it, the fans are paying for more and more things. They have the concerts coming in. And then every single window you hear, there's no money. But every December you hear, there's going to be money. Spurs are going to do stuff in the market. Come January, then there's no money. But I struggle to understand why there's not any money, though, Ollie, because we took out a loan in 2020 to cover the running costs that we would incur over the pandemic. So we took out 175 million on that loan to incur for the losses that we might have had to take. So therefore, all the running costs, that's not coming out of the club finance what they had going into the pandemic. So there should be money there to spend in retrospect.
Yeah, we should be spending more money than what we have been. I suppose what I'm trying to do is look at the money they have spent and imagine that money with Conte and Paratici next summer as a clean start, and hoping that it just works out. I'm just obviously we all want Conte to do well and it to work out. And if he did ever leave in a couple of years, that leaves us in a better position when he found us. But I agree that if it doesn't work and if it goes the way what Brian says it's going to go, the Levy out is going to get 100% support, isn't it? Everyone's going to be if this is Brad's right. It's the last chance, and I suppose I'm just hoping that what our crappy owners have done in the past with their money. They give that same amount of money to Conte and Paratici in the summer, but it goes better this time because it's in the right people's hands.
Spot on.
That's what I'm hoping.
Bit of a mic drop there, Ollie. Honestly, a bit of a mic drop there.
Hopefully Paratici can turn into Salt Bay with the way he's cooking, whatever you call it.
Hope so. Anyway.
Nice.
And another thing is, another thing is, I don't agree with us looking at the likes of Aston Villa and like being worried about what they're doing. I don't get it. Like, yeah, don't get me wrong. I've actually talking to my brother-in-law who's a Liverpool fan, and your man Purslow is a very good CEO. He did a lot of good things at Liverpool to get them rats out the club. What was it? Gillette and Hicks. He did a lot of good things for them. But when it comes to, like, he is doing a good job there, but they spent 93 million in the summer, which is 7 million less than what we spent. And when I look at what they spent that on, like, I wouldn't want us to spend 38 million on Brendier. I don't know about you, but it wouldn't be I wouldn't want to spend that much money on him. All right, 25 in Ings, maybe. Yeah, that would be good. And then, yeah, they're doing all right in January now. They've made 2 very good signings, but, you know, we've already got Reguilon. We don't need Digne. And I honestly believe if Conte wanted Coutinho, I reckon he probably could have got him, because I don't think he costs that much money to get him in. So,
do you know
Villa
what,
are bottom of the table.
I think where most fans' frustrations come with when they look at the likes of these clubs, it's kind of like we look around at our club, outside of maybe 8 or 9 players, what do we really have? And when they see the likes of Coutinho or Digne or, you know, even also on Edouard, who moved to Palace in the summer and stuff like that, when they see this, they're kind of looking at our squad and it's like, well, that player could have beefed up our squad. That player could have beefed up our squad. And I think that's where they're coming from. Yeah. But I agree with you. I mean, every time we make a signing as a big club, we should surely be looking at it as this player is going to come in and improve the first 11. Every single, well, at least 90% of the signings we make, that's the way we should be looking at it. You're always going to have 10% where you bring someone in for cover here or there. But the way we should be looking at it is that this player is going to come in and improve the first 11. I agree with you. You look at some of these players that have been floated about. Do they come and improve Tottenham's first 11? Probably not. Maybe Coutinho. Maybe that's a fair argument, but you don't know how that's going to pan out. But Digne, is he better than Sessegnon? Probably not, no.
Yeah, like here, the way I look at the Villa thing is, right, I would like our owner to be more like your man Purslow, the way he comes out and talks to people. And also when, if it was Brian who said it, when he came out and said, you know, they're going to celebrate that European Cup, and you know, when Brian said, like, you know, we don't do that, we don't celebrate our history, and Tottenham Tantrum Gold show us that history, that kind of hurt a little bit. I was kind of like, yeah, we don't do that. I wish we could be like that, you know. But on the other side of it, here, look at the league tables at the moment. We're near the European places. Aston Villa, like, when was the last time they were in Europe? When was the last time they won a trophy? They're trying to get to where we are, what we've been doing for fun for the last 10, 15 years. We've been consistently up there. They are trying to get to what we're doing. So, yeah, maybe a little bit worried, but I wouldn't be, like, you know, looking at them too much, you know.
I like this realism that you're kind of bringing. Yeah, it's good realism, to be fair, Ollie, because you might look at the Aston Villa and you kind of think, like, we're kind of just looking at them like, look at all those beautiful trinkets that, you know, they kind of brought into the club. When we kind of think about it, it's like, are those really the, you know, the trinkets or, you know, the beautiful diamonds that we need to bring into our club? Probably not, you know, to be fair. And we just get a little bit jealous because it's kind of grass is greener on the other side. But when you do also think about it, it's like, we still know that we need signings. So there is that bit of impatience. It's kind of, you know, tugs both ways, where it's like, people are saying, why didn't we just sign Coutinho? It's like, well, let's, you know, it's calm down. We didn't actually need Coutinho. We don't need that sort of signing, or, you know, a Digne signing or something like that. But to be fair as well, at the same time, you're kind of like, we need to get some signings in. So it's just, I think you brought in some really good sense of realism.
Trust me, I'm paranoid about it as well, deep down. But I'm just kind of trying to
tell myself, you brought a sense of calm, though.
You know,
you have brought a sense of calm.
Try and wait and see. But yeah, I'd be happy at the end of this window if we had Traore as that right wing back. And do you want to know what? I can't think of a centre midfielder who we can bring in January, who's going to be really, like, can use. I actually, you know, one we can
hit the ground running in the Premier League. You know, that's the big question. And
I can't think of one.
Unless you pay big money, unless you're willing to stump up the money, you're not going to get the midfielder we need. I mean, look, I know Southampton have got new owners, but test them out. Put in a bid for James Ward-Prowse.
Yeah.
You know, go and test Leon out. Put in a bid for Bruno Gomes. I mean, there's plenty of players, but I said earlier on the show that we're not going to get players like that in January. Purely, because if you want them and the club is willing to do the deal, it's up to you to stump the money up. We will not do it, and we haven't given ourselves enough time now to be able to do it because Tottenham like a whole 2 months to negotiate players. We know that. Like there's midfielders out there. I mean, you could even go to Villa. Somebody makes a good recommendation in there, John McGinn. I mean, he's a workhorse. He can shoot the ball. He can play ball. I mean, there are players in this league that we can go and get, but we just won't put up the money for them.
I know it'd be nice if we could convince Leon to take Ndombele back and give us Yaman Gomes, wouldn't it?
That's the swap deal. That's the swap deal of the century. I'll tell you that. I mean,
yeah, well, obviously we'd have to pay some money as well, a lot of money. But
pay them to take him back 100%.
Yeah.
No, I mean, literally, I think that would be the case. Not even a joke. But Aglaya Kakaratis, Ellie, saying, welcome to you, Ollie, oi, oi, oi. Let's hear you, lad. We value your opinion at the Harris Army. She gives you the props there, Ollie. She absolutely loves to see you on.
Finally got on.
I think she's recognizing the fan cams I was talking about as well.
Yeah. No, absolutely brilliant, Ellie, love. I really, really do appreciate the support. Everyone else out there, feel free to get your super chats in and support the channel. Feel free to get your questions in for Ollie while we have him here. But Ollie, another player I want to talk about. And look, me personally, I know we talk about offloading Ndombele, but it's not that simple, purely because every club looking at things from the outside. With the pandemic we're in, with money being in short supply, are they going to take a gamble on a guy who's mentally unstable? He pisses off the fans every opportunity he gets. And if you don't have the players to put in and around him already, you're going to come to the same result that Tottenham have come to with this guy. Do you really see us being able to sell this guy?
The only way I can see us getting rid of him is if Pochettino takes him. Because Pochettino was the one who... I heard that Pochettino was the one who wanted him in Tottenham. It wasn't Hitchin, it was Pochettino who really wanted him. So PSG have a load of money. Wijnaldum isn't working out at PSG, is it? He isn't playing.
I guess he's frustrated there, yeah.
Kind of... the PSG are the only ones who could possibly take him because he's on them wages. He ain't going to take a wage cut. He has a massive ego. He thinks he's brilliant.
But can they afford to take him though? With the summer transfer window that can they afford them?
I don't know. Well,
within financial fair play, I mean,
the financial fair play that the owner PSG happens to be a board member of. Who knows? Maybe they could tweak a few things.
I'm trying to think.
Because he is one of the board members of the UEFA, actually, the owner of PSG as well. So maybe he would have a part to say in the financial fair play.
Maybe Leon might take him back, but we'd have to, I don't know. Like who can afford it? It was the biggest flop I've ever seen come into the team. Like he does show glimpses of brilliance, but like £60 million.
Is it the wage that almost makes it worse? I think that's what makes it worse. I mean, as much as yes, we see 60 million, going straight down the drain. I think that hurts already enough. Then the fact that he is already on, I think, what is he, the third highest player, second highest player in the entire squad as well, after doing nothing for the actual club before he came in, and he was given those wages. I feel like that's what hurts us more.
I'm not gonna
is those wages. That's what's actually detracting other teams from going after him. Is just the wages.
The wages, yeah, and because I think Tottenham are going to accept that they're going to take a cut on him. Like they'll probably let him go for 25, 30 million, but.
Yeah.
It's up to him. If he wants to play football, he's going to have to take a wage cut. So, like, what does he want to do? Stay at Tottenham and just sit in the stands and earn 200k a week? Is that the type of guy he is?
Ollie, I think he's already given that answer. If he wanted to play football, he'd be playing already, wouldn't he?
Yeah, it's the biggest flop we've ever had.
It's wherever the Uber Eats, fare is a bit cheaper or maybe just a bit better options, I would say, Ollie. In London, I would say, I think that's the reason why he's sticking around, is cheap food in London, much better options on the Uber Eats app, I think, around there than maybe Paris. I think that's what's going on with him, He's just realizing, it's a bit better bang for his buck on that 200K.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who else will take him. Maybe Real Madrid will take him. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I wish they had money to take him.
Probably have to send him out on loan and just hope that he does well there, and then they take him.
let's look at some of these clubs. Bayern Munich, they are not. I know I've seen them linked.
They
with it,
spend
but
too
I'm telling you
wisely.
now, they are not touching this guy with a barge pole. Bayern Munich, they are one of the most smoothest run clubs in world football. You never really hear too many scandals coming out of there. And I'm telling you now, they buy players that will believe in their system and believe in what they're doing. They will not bring this guy in. PSG, with the summer they had, if they bring in Ndombele on the wages and everything else,
They might get a
they
lawsuit.
would be looked at again, and they'll probably break financial fair play. You go to Real Madrid, Barcelona, simply cannot afford them. Barcelona couldn't afford to keep Messi. They're definitely not going to be able to afford Ndombele. Real Madrid done fuck all in the transfer window. They're not going to be able to afford Ndombele. You look at the teams in the Premier League, Jurgen Klopp ain't coming near him, that's for sure. Pep Guardiola's not coming near him, that's for sure. United, Wreck-It Ralph, he probably have no say in the transfer market. They're not coming for him. They already have a player of their own who's already bad in the dressing room. That's Paul Pogba. They're not going to add to it. Chelsea is certainly not going to come in for him. Where does this guy go? Where does he go? He's not going anywhere. He's staying here.
You just said it. We're stuck with him. We're stuck with him then. Unless we can try and use him as part of a deal. If we decide that we want a centre midfielder and try and offer him money and him, it's the only way we're getting rid of him.
I just think the wages are the ones that are really killing us. It's not, at the end of the day, how much we paid for him originally isn't probably killing us as much as it is killing us. It's not killing us as much as the wages. The wages are hurting us, I think.
I see a few people saying Juventus aren't going to happen. They're waiting to get Paul Pogba back this summer.
Yeah, maybe United. I know you said United won't, but United are a money pit. They might just decide to. I don't know. Yeah, maybe we go to United and ask them for Van der Beek, and they take Ndombele.
Very good option. I'd like.
They might be stupid enough to take it. You never know.
They really hate Van der Beek. We'll see what they think of Tanguy, at the end of the day. But class, well said, Ollie. To be fair, well said, my man.
But anything else you want to talk about, Ollie?
Just what everyone else was saying. Arsenal, they're shithouses, aren't they? Complete shithouses.
What did you make of the fact that I was saying every reason they got the game off had actually nothing to do with the COVID rules that were supposed to get the game called off?
That's it. Burnley got one called off tonight, and Arsenal have started it now. When we got a game called off, we actually had COVID. And when Liverpool, you can say what you want about Liverpool, they had false positives, but it wasn't like at the time they thought they had. Yeah, that's exactly why. Yeah,
no, you don't want to get in trouble after.
but honestly though, they had false positives, but at the time they thought they were positive, so they had to get the game called off. But Arsenal had sending off suspensions, they had AFCONs, and they had injuries. They're the first team to actually get the game called off for that. The rest of the teams did actually have COVID. They're the ones who had the first ones to get it called off with one COVID case. The first. And now they've started it because they have no class.
I absolutely love it.
Absolute. Just I've been arguing with them all weekend. There's no here. They can win all the trophies they want in the world. They're the ones who pussied out of a North London derby.
Yeah, that's it.
You know what I mean? There's no way of.
And
honestly, Ollie, you're spot on. Because there have been times where David's called me up for a game of FIFA. I got a bit rattled by the spanking he gave me last time. And I was like, you know what, Dave? I got some dinner I got to make. I got some errands I got to run. I come up with every excuse under the world. Saying I can't make it to this. Coming Dave and Jack Derby. And yet this excuse that I've just seen from from the scum. It's just even more embarrassing than the ones I've given David over a game of FIFA. For crying out loud. So, it is a bit shocking. I'll be fair. It's even more shocking that it got approved. But even them, submitting the request, they must have had a wry smile while even submitting the request.
I think, their fans are delighted. They think that they've, got one over on us for doing it. They'll have to play us when we're stronger. We wasn't in great shape going into that game.
Yeah.
We could be a lot stronger by the time we play them next time. And it could cost them. And you know what? I don't know. I just can't see it in my head that they'll finish in the top four. I just can't really see it. And I said it to actually Dave earlier. I can only really see United maybe turning it around and suddenly becoming good again. I can't see West Ham finishing there, and I can't see Arsenal finishing there. So I think we do have a pretty good chance of trying to capitalise on it, you know. But we'll see.
Absolutely. I love the positivity, Ali. I love the positivity. But do tell your missus to get in contact with Jurgen and make sure they give Liverpool the spanking of all spankings.
Yeah, I'll say she's beside me now. I can say it to her now if you want.
Yeah, what's her name? What's her name?
Rebecca.
Make sure you get in contact with Jurgen for us.
Hey, hold on.
Oh, you're on mute now, Ali.
Say it again, Dave.
Rebecca, make sure you get in contact with Jurgen and tell him not to take it easy on the scum this week. I actually don't like Liverpool, but for once, I actually hope you make a final.
We'll all be I'll be cheering on Liverpool on Thursday anyway, big time. I'll be shouting for him. That's how much I want him to win. I can't stand Arsenal to get to that final. I'll be praying. I'll be saying 12 Hail Marys before they play.
Stop, my man. And you know what? I encourage every Spurs fan out there, every Liverpool fan out there, once they do get knocked out, just go straight to AFTV and just troll the living crap out of them. I absolutely can't wait. And that's what I love about you, Ollie. I always see you battling away with West Ham fans, Arsenal fans, all over social media. I mean, you're a better man than I am. When it comes to these fans, I just abuse their mother, their sister, and everything else. You know, you're actually more level-headed with it, which I actually respect, to be honest with you. But look, Ollie, my man, I really appreciate your time, and I can't wait to go to the game with you on the 13th.
Definitely can't wait. I've never been to the new stadium, so I just can't wait for it.
Yeah. No, we're going to have a good day out, that's for sure. It's me, you, Philip Brady, potentially Dermot, and my mate Sean as well. So it should be a good day trip.
That's a crew and a half.
Can't wait. And thanks so much for having me on.
No, I want to see you on again now. No more.
Will do.
Same time next
You've
week.
been absolutely brilliant.
I'll get on again. No, thanks so much, lads.
Big up, Ollie. Class.
See you later.
See you. Brought some absolute positivity, some great points, and I love it. I'll see you, Ollie. See you,
Peace,
my man.
Ollie.
See you later.
Absolute brilliant from Ollie there, guys. First time caller.
Class.
You know, you gotta love it. Big him up in the chat. First time, absolutely brilliant. And the smile as well, it's infectious. I love to see it. Ellie says, I love Tanguy to go to the arse wipes. Now that will be the transfer of the century. I mean, it'd be absolutely perfect. I mean, he can team up with Thomas Partey. The two of them can live it up then, you know what I mean? Who else has got there? Xhaka. I mean, he's always missing as well. He gets sent off about 9 times a season. So, I mean, you know, it'd be a right midfield crew for them, the missing crew. Honestly, you see them all over milk cartons. You see the police coming out there. You know, if anyone's seen these guys, can you please get in contact? It'd be absolutely brilliant. But honestly, I look at Tanguy and Ndombele. If anybody wanted him and if anyone fancied that they thought they could get this guy in and turn him around, my opinion is it would have been done already. I do not see him going anywhere. I don't see what club is going to take the risk on him with money being more precious nowadays than ever before. I just don't see it. I think we're stuck with him. But what we can do is just do what is the old school trick in the book. Isolate them like we are doing. I mean, the fucker hates running, so it's perfect what Conte is doing. He's called it special conditioning training. I can imagine that film, what's it called? Full Metal Jacket, I think. Private Pile. You know what I mean? Where he's just getting abused going over these things. I imagine that's happening to Ronald Ndombele. And look, to be honest with you, I mean, it's right. It's the right treatment. Now, I want more to join him. Get Matt Doherty to join him. Get Lo Celso to join him. And I was listening to something last night. It was very interesting. Like it was about a couple of ex-managers talking, and they were saying, you know, once you get one bad egg in the dressing room, and it's like what me and Jack have been saying on this channel for a long time, and it kind of just confirmed it to me. But once you get another player in the same situation where he's not playing, he goes to the bad egg. Then the next one.
Bad apple spoils the barrel.
And then all of a sudden, you don't have one unhappy player. You have a bunch of them. And it's spoiling the dressing room. It's spoiling everything you're trying to do. And this guy's the catalyst of it. So we need to get rid of him. But big up, Ellie Love. And I really appreciate the support.
Hopefully, Ellie would be like the Sol Campbell one, except this time we actually wouldn't be gutted to see him go. We'd just probably pretend like Sol Campbell's situation, where we're just saying, you know, I can't believe you've taken such, a talented player away from us. He's a real talent for the future, et cetera, et cetera. And then you just see them inherit all the problems that we've had. Maybe we even say, probably the 250 grand is actually more worth it. I can't believe we're getting away with paying him 200 grand. We'll just come up with all the excuses. Maybe they would sign him away. But Ellie, really, thank you so much for throwing in the big ones. Looking forward to speaking to you later. As always, Ellie, really do appreciate the support. Very, very generous queen of the Harris Army.
No, I can't wait. And look, we don't want to be keeping her up too late because she's getting down there at Dagle tomorrow. And if anyone's going to make sure it's heard, it's going to be Ellie, that's for sure. But Brad Matthews says, employ Darren Brown to hypnotize the opposition on negotiations. You will buy Ndombele for 70 million. It might work. Yeah, no, look, it would be nice. But look, honestly, we're stuck with the guy. I mean, McDonald's won't even take him because they're like, well, it doesn't make sense because we still have to pay him, but he's going to eat up our budget anyway, so we're not going to take him. I mean, honestly, we are stuck with this guy. Bad transfer, and we're stuck with him. It's that simple. It is that simple. But look, we are going to bring on the next guest. I'm just going to grab a quick drink of water. I'll be back in 1 second. But big up, Brad, my man. Really appreciate it. And good. I love Darren Brown, so I do. I love him. Big up, Brad. But let's bring on the next guy, and his name is Mark. I do not see the flat cap that he had, the one that I'm so jealous of. Oh, he does have it.
He's got it ready, Dave. He's got it ready.
I'm gonna have to ask him how much it's going to cost to get it off him after I grab a glass of water. But let's bring on Marky boy. Big up, Mark.
How are we all?
Doing well, my man. Doing well. I see you got the flat cap ready on the belt there, ready to put it on, ready to show the Harris Army. I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it. It's probably the best one, I would say, in the entire business of the Harris Army. I think we're all absolutely jealous. But Mark,
it's years old. It's years old.
It's gotten its wearings. It's gotten its wearings. Good to see you, my man. But I mean, what do you have to talk about? I mean, maybe the North London derby getting canceled, maybe the transfer window showing that we won't sign anybody. I mean, what's been on your mind? What's been bogging you down? What's, what about Spurs, has been kind of bothering you?
Everyone has spoke about everything I wanted to talk about.
Well, we want to hear your takes on it, my man, because, everybody's got different takes sometimes.
Well, the Arsenal game should never have been called off, in my opinion. It was only the Premier League to blame. It's not really Arsenal, to be honest.
Right.
I mean, they put their application in, and the Premier League agreed with it.
Do you feel like they're showing two standards? Maybe the Premier League, like at one day, they're kind of, canceling a game for 8 or 9, kind of COVID cases that maybe might seem justified. And then the next day they're doing it for one COVID case, but they even said themselves it had to more do with AFCON. It had to do more with the injuries. So the hypocrisy is coming through. Yeah. Well,
a lot of their players are at the AFCON, aren't they?
Yeah.
Correct.
So, and who was it got sent off? Xhaka?
Xhaka, yeah.
Yeah, he was sent off. And so he couldn't have played anyway. That's not our fault.
Yep. No, spot on. It's a joke. And do you know what, Mark? In a way, I mean, obviously Tottenham wanted to do it because we're a classy club. But Arsenal used the loophole to benefit themselves. I mean, most other clubs are going to do it. So I agree with you. Look, for me, don't get me wrong. I mean, Arsenal are a classless club and I hate them. And I am angry for it. But more of my hate is towards the Premier League. And do you think David Dean being on the board of the Premier League has something to do with this? Of course, ex-Arsenal.
2 and 2 makes 4, doesn't it? I mean, it's obvious.
Not if you're me. I failed maths in school, my man.
Oh, okay. No, but that's obvious. He had something to do with it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's on the what did you say? He was on the Premier League committee.
He's on the Premier League board, David Dean. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's going to look after Arsenal, isn't he?
Yeah. No, 100%. Of course he is. I mean, he's got vested interest. I mean, he was there under there when Arsene Wenger was there and stuff like that. And it stinks though. I don't like it. I do not like it one bit. But what's your thoughts on maybe the attendances lately, Mark? Do you think it's a reflection on Christmas and COVID, or do you think it's a reflection on fans just getting pissed off on what they're seeing on the pitch and don't fancy making the trip? I mean, we haven't had over 60,000 since October, I believe.
Yeah, well, I mean, we all know January's the bad month because you get paid early, and then you got to go the whole month with no money.
Mm.
You know, and we're coming towards the end now where everyone's going to start getting paid again.
Yeah.
And the first thing is you got your Christmas bills still to pay.
Yeah.
So you think it has more maybe to do with, Mark, maybe the fact that potentially COVID scares, you know, maybe not as much money to spend, or do you feel like it's a combination of maybe that and maybe also as well, you know, the fact that, you know, maybe the fans just aren't happy with what they have to pay for in terms of the actual product on the pitch?
Corona's definitely got something to do with it because I mean, I don't live nowhere near London, obviously, but
yeah,
like in
Bristol,
London, it was rife. Virtually everyone had it
accent?
in London. Sorry,
Mark,
what was that?
Are you from Bristol?
No, Somerset.
Oh, Somerset. I thought it was a bit of a Bristol accent you had.
Well, it's close. Well, how far is Bristol from here? 35 miles. If you want to know where I'm from, Google Westland helicopters back in the day. And that's the town I'm from.
I'll do that, my man. Come here. What do you think of the transfer window so far, Mark? You know, only 14 days left to go. Are you getting concerned?
What transfer window? Is it started?
You wouldn't know.
I don't know. My first comment on Tottenham Tantrum Gold is, have we signed anyone yet? It's always my first comment on there. Have we signed anyone yet? The only person I can see coming in is Adama, to be honest. And do we really want him? The jury's out, in my opinion.
Do you not think he'd be able to? Do you think the Adama Traore sign would be a wise one in terms of, look, he's Premier League proven against the bigger teams. I mean, we have Liverpool away, we have City away, we have Chelsea away, we have United still to play, I think, all away. That he does help us in them games. Like, you look at him for Wolves, he's a constant handful for them. And what he could do is maybe create more space for Son and Kane to play in.
That is the good thing. That is the good thing, because at least when we play Wolves, he won't terrorize us like he normally does.
Yeah. Yeah, that is very, very true. Very, very true, to be fair. You know, any players that you maybe would have your eye on that maybe we could sign and bring in?
Any positions that you feel like need to be upgraded right away?
We definitely need another striker. Definitely, because your man, David, is tired.
Big age.
You know, he's not had a break for what, 3 years? Hardly.
Hmm.
You know, and if he gets injured as well, we're screwed.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Trust me, though, he's not tired, my man. He's not tired. He's ready. He's ready. He's ready to get us, fire us to top four for the second half of the season. Look, do you know what? I just don't see us bringing in a striker this January. I really don't. I don't see where it's going to come from. Any strikers in mind, Mark?
Well, that Vlahovic that everyone keeps talking about, but will we give him 300,000 a week? Probably not.
Yeah.
Or I'd say definitely not.
Yeah, probably give that the farm on maybe us not paying those wages. That's fair. Do you feel like you would rather? How do you feel like on the striker situation? Do we just need one, just any old striker to come in? Or do you feel like if we were to get in a striker, does it need to be maybe more top quality that can compete with the likes of Kane? Or would you rather maybe just sign whatever number 9, like another Vinicius or something like that? I mean, because I think two sides of the argument makes sense. Maybe some people would rather make do with no striker, but they want one that's quality, or some would just say, just get a striker in. I mean, how do you feel about it?
No. Well, the trouble is, if you're going to go for a top one like a Vlahovic, is he going to come in and play second fiddle? He's going to say, I want £300,000 a week. I want to be playing. But if you go for a Vinicius again, he won't be played, so you won't see him.
Yeah. Do you maybe have to tell Vlahovic is back up? Maybe could you switch to a 3-5-2, which is what Conte kind of preferred anyway in Italy?
I'd love it. I would absolutely love it.
So
If
would
we
I.
played that, I mean, all right, I'm 51. And now, certainly from the 80s, when I really got into Tottenham, like we had Gareth Crooks, Steve Archibald. You know, that's the two I can name off the top of my head from the cup winning team.
Yeah.
You know, we've always, and you look at when, who was Robbie Keane there with? Was he there with Defoe and Crouch?
He was there with Defoe. I think he was there at Mido at some stage. He was there with Berbatov. Jesse, he was there with a good few of the strikers we had over the years.
Yeah. I was going to say, well, I'm sure there was a stage we had 4 top quality.
Yeah,
now we've got 1.
Didn't we? We had Berbatov, Keane. We had Defoe. Forgetting, for all my sins, I'm forgetting who the other one is. But
was it
like
Crouch?
for me growing up supporting Tottenham, I mean, even back in the day, we always had strikers. We had Les Ferdinand, Chris Armstrong. I mean, you had Stefan Everson and others there. At one stage, you had Pavlyuchenko, Darren Bent, Peter Crouch, and somebody else there. I mean, you know, and Darren Bent, before he came to Tottenham, he could have went to other clubs. He was hotly sought after. This whole narrative that top strikers won't come to Tottenham because of Harry Kane, in my opinion, is a complete load of bollocks. I mean, you look at most other clubs, Newcastle. I mean, they're not great strikers to pick from, but they still have 3. Callum Wilson, Joe Linton, and Chris Wood. Chris Wood didn't say, I'm not leaving Burnley to go to Newcastle because there's competition there. He went. The point is if you pay the money, they're going to come.
Even bigger clubs, Dave. I mean, there's always still a backup striker to. You look at the Lewandowskis. There's still a backup to a Lewandowski. There's still a backup to a Benzema. There's still a backup, to big strikers like, and Harry Kane's on those levels of those strikers. So you think about it, there's a backup there. I mean, why can't there be a backup here? There's just no exception. I feel like it's just we just have dropped the ball in that case.
Well, we know who's to blame. Is, as Brian Daigle would say, the parasite at the top. You know, I mean, you look at the year Leicester won the league and the year after when Chelsea won the league, we should have won both of them.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Poch begged just for a couple of players to take us that extra little bit and get us them titles. He ended up with nothing. Yeah. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah. And do you know what? I just fear it could be going the same way with Conte. Do you know what it is? It's like, my thing is like, and even with Mourinho, I know they got other players in, but the players that they brought in is not what Mourinho wanted. You look at our last 3 managers, I'm not going to include Nuno in this, but they've all said the same. They're all saying the same things. I mean, you got to look behind sometimes what they're saying as well, because they're never going to come out and tell you exactly what their thoughts are. But you look at Jose Mourinho, Conte, Pochettino, one thing we can all conclusively take from all 3 is that they wanted these players. They weren't being bought the players they want, but they're being bought players like them with similar attributes, a cheaper option. And they're not actually getting the players they want. And all 3 managers are saying this in all roundabout ways. I mean, Pochettino and Conte were both saying it just kind of like, look, I'm telling them what I want, but it's up to them what they want to do. You know what I mean? You have Jose Mourinho was saying in the press, I'm asking for these players. You know what I mean? But again, it's up to the club. So, I mean, it's just kind of like at some stage, if you're going to be bringing in a manager, you're going to have to do what he wants to do, especially now because the club is in such dire straits. The playing squad is completely fractured. They don't get on in the dressing room. We know this. Listen to Hugo Lloris's words after the Zagreb game and other players talk throughout between then and now. They don't get on. There's fractions in the dressing room. And at some stage, you're going to have to go a manager's way to fix this. Because if you don't, you're only going to go one way. And if you don't do it under Conte, you're going to end up with Eddie Howe. You're going to end up with Sean Dyche, because they're going to be the only people that will take this job after this. Everyone looking from the outside in, Conte, Jose Mourinho, Pochettino, they're not bad managers. I mean, and it pisses me off seeing Spurs fans, oh, well, why did he make this sub? Why did he make this call? Understand. You know, people were saying, why did he play a dirty left wing back? A, because Reguilon was injured, but B, because he has no one else to play there. This is the problem. I mean, these players are keep being played. We keep seeing the same, end up getting the same fate and the same results. But then people still question the managers, and it's like, when's this going to stop? Sorry.
Yeah. You only got to look at the window when we were linked with Bruno Fernandes, and we ended up with the other one who was rubbish.
Yeah, the Celso. Yep.
Or Jetson Fernandez.
No,
even worse. Even worse,
Fernandez,
Dave. Even worse than even worse than a Lo Celso, a Jetson Fernandez.
Yeah, that's who I was on about. We were in for the real man, and we got his relation.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Is there a particular player you feel like, maybe that you feel like you could give a second chance to, or someone that you feel like still needs a bit of time, maybe to settle in, someone that you think Antonio Conte can still get the best out of? We've seen him get the best out of Ben Davies, who I wrote off at one stage. We're seeing him maybe getting the best out of Harry Winks, Eric Dyer. Maybe the list is actually quite larger than we thought. Do you feel like there may be some players still at the club that maybe we could give another chance to, or do you feel like it's a lot of work to be done?
The three that you just said is the ones that, well, we all wanted them gone, but
and they all came better. They all became better.
Eric Dyer's. We'll look at how we got on when we never had him in the team against Chelsea.
Mm-hmm.
We were destroyed. And who would have said 6 months ago, "Oh, Eric Dyer, he's the savior of our defense"? Nobody.
But the thing is, these players are like, I don't want to get this misconstrued either, because they're still not the savior. I mean, we can still do better. They're still going to cost us games. It's just better. Yeah. It's just literally better with them there, but it's not great. It's not to the level or the standard we need to be at.
No. Nowhere near. Not what Poch took us to.
Yeah.
To what we are now.
And this is the thing. I mean, like, look, if we can't have winning trophies, at least just let's get back to the Poch era where you had that winning team every week. It's the next best thing. I mean, I'd kill to have that back. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know, boys. I don't know. The club is just wrecking my head right now. I think it's wrecking all of our heads.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen you on Tottenham Tantrum Gold, but you watch the games that they show. The passion, leave everything on the pitch, bleed for the shirt. When do you see that now? You don't.
No, you don't. You don't, because look, back then it was about pride playing for Tottenham. I mean, you earned your money. Nowadays, you're a millionaire before you even get anywhere near the first team. So where's that hunger? Where's that desire? To get into the first team, to be better? It's not there. Even as a player coming to the club, I mean, with the astronomical wages you're paying nowadays, every player you bring into this club is a risk. You have to look at it like that as well, because, I mean, you could get Ndombele where, like, you could get Ndombele, or who's a good example, or you could get someone like a Højbjerg. Højbjerg, for all the people that have their thoughts on him, I mean, the guy works incredibly hard. He bleeds for the badge. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like, I don't know, man. It's just, like, even when I was watching the match on Tottenham Tantrum Gold yesterday, just simple things. I mean, I was watching players do the right thing. For instance, Darren Anderton, lean over the ball when you're shooting it, keep it down. Nowadays, you don't see players even do that. It doesn't even cross their mind. Get your knee over the ball. The ball's being wrapped into them on a bobbly pitch. The ball's bobbling everywhere, but the first touch is better than what I'd say players' first touch is nowadays. They're playing on carpets and you're seeing the ball bobble everywhere. But back then, they're playing on potholes. You know what I mean? And some of them are controlling with the outside of the boot, the inside, the laces, the knee, the chest. You don't see that nowadays. But purely because you don't even have to. Like, look, my opinion is like, you look at the likes of Moussa Sissoko, Serge Aurier, and Ndombele. You don't have to be a top player to come through the academy anymore. You don't have to have the right attitude to come through the academy anymore. You know what I mean? Just as long as you show certain attributes that match the stats, you're in. It's that simple. They couldn't care less about your attitude, about your hunger, your desire. Look, I just don't like the way football is going. It's making players lose their hunger and lose sight of things. I mean, you're looking at a career now. You're probably talking about 10 very good years at the top. If you're a superstar, you're talking about 12, 14 good years. I mean, but you're seeing the likes of Dele Alli piss about with 4 years of his career already. Do you think he's going to look back in time and care? No. He has his multi-millions. No. Give a shit.
No. He's going to be led on a bed with a big pile of money.
And women.
Yeah, and them as well.
With Iron Man masks, surrounding him and TikTok,
Yeah.
I mean,
Instagram.
Yeah, you're spot on, Mark. But it's good to have you back. It's good to have you back on the fan shows. Maybe any final words, any parting words, maybe for the Harris Army, any kind of words of wisdom, maybe for us to maybe part ways with.
Go and subscribe to Tottenham Tantrum Gold. Excellent channel.
Love it.
Absolutely love it.
And get well, Bob Spur.
Love it,
No,
Mark.
100%, my man. 100%. Well, look, Mark, you hang on to that flat cap for dear life, because I'm over there on the 13th. I might have to do a little sneaky break in.
Well, it's a long way from London. I'm about
I'll be there.
150 miles from Tottenham.
Look, I'm over there in March with Jack for a little while, so I have all the time in the world.
It's gonna be worth it.
I'll tell you what, David. If there's some way I can send it to you, I will.
Nah, I wouldn't make it power.
No. It's ancient, David. It comes from the 90s.
All the more reason to keep it on your head, my man. All the more reason to keep it on your head. It's a historical relic, on your head right there. So, no reason to pass it on to us. We'll get our own flat caps that we can, look back on, 20 years later and, think about, oh, wow, look how long this spends on my head. So, Mark, keep it for yourself, my man. But, Dave, at some stage, if you do find it missing, you probably know who it is at the end of the day. Mark, it's a pleasure, my man. Absolute pleasure, as always.
Okay, big up, lads.
Big up, Mark, and I'll see you again soon, my man. Absolute legend. Mark, guys, what a guy. I mean, I love speaking to the chat. Get in the chat and give him a good big up. Jack, Ellie with the super sticker.
Yeah, she's Dave. It's the bird, and it's just given a big #1 fan actually emoji as well. And here she is actually as well. Just to testify to it, Dave. It's a big #1 fan. Kind of animated sticker. It's actually very kind, as well as kind of a new one. I've yet to see it. I've yet to see someone from the Harris Army use this one. So there you go, a bit of inspiration as well.
I absolutely love it. But look, let me do this lady justice. Let's welcome. I love her passion. I love her enthusiasm. On my down days, she picks me up. She gets me revved back up again. It's one of the greatest women I've ever met in my life, and it's Ellie. Ellie, how are you keeping?
You're one of the greatest men I've met in my life as well. And I've added 2 badges to my Captain Højbjerg hat, you see?
What are they, Ellie?
Tottenham through and through.
What's the badges? One is gold cockerel, is it?
You can take the girl out of Tottenham, but you can't take Tottenham out of the girl.
That you cannot. But Ellie, I know you love a dig at Arsenal. I mean, you don't need an invitation normally, but it seems like Arsenal gave you one this weekend. So what would you say to them?
Bloody idiots. They're running square. You know what? They used to be called Square Dial. There are a bunch of squares, aren't they? Running away from us because they're scared to play us. But they wanted to save themselves for that Liverpool match because they think they've got a chance because they drew 0-0 at Anfield. But I hope, like you said, David, that Liverpool stuff them good.
Oh, they will.
They deserve to be
They'll
stuffed.
give them a right. Honestly, they give them that much of a stuffing, they'll think they're the turkey last Christmas.
Yeah. Bloody idiots. Try to get in our game. And that David Dean why is he on the Football League board?
God knows, he's one of the cronies, isn't he, Ellie? One of the boys.
Yeah,
I even remember at one stage as well, Ellie,
I
remember one stage as well, they were complaining.
It's poignant, isn't it, about them getting promotion over us in 1919. Yeah. They lobbied all the people then to get promoted over us, and we finished higher than them. You see, so they're always doing the dirty on us.
Yeah,
they're scum, aren't they?
that they are. Like, what were you
feel like going down to the Emirates tomorrow after I go down to the Spurs training ground to protest against Levy and throwing some poo on their ground.
I love it.
Oh, you gotta love it.
I won't do that though, because they might sue me. Maybe I should give them Ndombele because he's poo.
Honestly, if you threw poo on the training ground, it would honestly just add quality to the squad. I would say, Ellie, that's what I would tell you. But some of the, I believe even at one stage, Ellie, Mikel Arteta, a few weeks back, he was complaining, about maybe Arsenal being forced to play certain games when they had some players missing, and yet they get this one called off, and all of a sudden they're quite quiet about it. They seem to be almost celebrating having this one called off. Do you feel like there's maybe a double standard being set by the Premier League?
Say that again.
Is there a double standard from the Premier League? Do you feel like Mikel Arteta at one stage was complaining about maybe them having to play games, and now all of a sudden they've gotten a game written off for only one COVID case?
I know, and you know why? Because David Dean's on the board of the Football League, so obviously he's going to give them precedence, isn't he? So he's probably said, they've got one COVID case, but they've only got 12 first teamers available. But really, they had more. They had more first teamers available.
I mean, Ellie, they have a whole entire under 23 squad that played earlier on that day. They have a whole entire under 18 squad. I believe they actually have 83 players trained at Arsenal to be able to play for the first team.
Yeah. So they had no excuse. They just wanted to save themselves for that Liverpool match. That's why. Not particularly because they didn't want to play us. It's because they wanted to save themselves for that match. And that I believe they're trying to get that one called off because they've sent Pablo Mari to Udinese, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're one player short again. Anyway, let's not talk about them. Let's not give them airtime.
What do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about the training ground protest as well, because I'd like all the Harris Army to come, as many as you can come down there to support Brian, because the more people down there, the more weight it adds to the argument that Levy's doing a horrible job down at Spurs. Like I just made a comment. Every time they flash on his face, he looks miserable. It doesn't even look like he likes watching Spurs. They flash on him and his son. They both look miserable. And he loves sacking our managers. I think he's, like one fan said, he's like a narcissist. He loves sacking big managers. He employs them so he can sack them.
Do you know what it
is, Ellie? He's doing that to Conte. He's not giving him money. We've got how many more days? We've got 14 more days to the end of, or 15 more days to the end of the transfer window, and not one signing. Yeah, Aston Villa, who haven't got hardly any budget, they managed to find the money.
Ellie, do you think that Jose or that Levy keeps bringing in the likes of Jose Mourinho and Conte because realistically he knows how bad the squad is, and kind of doesn't really want to overspend to fix it, so he's bringing in the best managers possible, luring them in by saying, further down the line we will invest, but right now you have to get the best out of what we've got. Do you think that's why he's bringing in some of these big dogs?
I agree with you, David, but I think he loves sacking managers. He gets off on it. Look how many managers he sacked, for God's sake. And Poch done a fantastic job. He got us to the Champions League final with more or less the same squad as we've got now, bar a few that have gone. And then he gets in Jose, and now he's got in Conte, one of the best managers in the world, and it looks like he's not going to back him this window. I don't know what was said in this meeting of theirs, but what you said about him saying about more or less saying what Poch said at the same time, that's come true again.
Do you feel like it's not a coincidence, that maybe he said similar words to Poch?
It's not a coincidence. I think Conte's going to toe the line, I think he's thinking, right, I'll try and do my best with these players because we're not going to have money available. Maybe we'll get one signing. And then I'll go to the summer. And if I don't make top four, I'm going to walk anyway because he won't stay if we don't make top four.
Look, Conte's here until the summer. He may or may not stay after top four, but what he will do is he'll have a meeting straight after the season ends with the board because he's going to have every other big club available. Barcelona probably looking to twist.
He will.
Real Madrid. Bayern Munich, Dortmund, Juve. I mean,
All the big
if this
clubs.
guy is available, who wouldn't want to have him? Talking about a guy that's won five league titles in 7 years plus domestic cups. And I just think he'll go in the summer. As soon as the season ends, he'll go and have a meeting. If he doesn't get the right words from what he's hearing from the board, and he's still getting the same jingle that he got this January transfer window, he will walk early and he will take a project. He will take a project that suits him, because this is a guy that has worked his way up through the leagues to be able to earn this. He's one of the world's best managers. He is not sticking around at Tottenham to train Ben Davies and Eric Dyer not to make mistakes, to train Sanchez to know where a ball is. He's not coming here to do that when he can go and work with the very best players and bring titles. We have to remember, this guy is driven by winning. He is driven by success. He was in his playing days and he is in his managerial days.
Yeah.
He is not sticking around to try and get the best out of a squad that Daniel Levy thinks is good enough.
I know.
He's not going to do it.
I think he won 5 league titles as a player playing for Juventus on the trot. And I think he won 9 in his career.
I think he's won, or whatever it is, he's won more
winner.
trophies than any manager in this decade, or like something like that. I think is the.
Yeah, I mean, Jose didn't play at that level. Yeah, he was a great manager, but Conte's played as a fantastic footballer and won every single trophy you can think of. Then he's gone into management and he's won everything. He's won everything. And now he's come to Spurs thinking that he's going to get backed. And now January's come, and like Brian Daigle said it before, that he's not going to back us. He's not going to back Conte, sorry. So when the 31st of January comes and we haven't made any signings, that's the proof in the pudding, isn't it?
Yeah. And just to take
he
that,
lies to us all the time.
Always. Every window. Like I was saying earlier on, Ellie, I mean, we're the only club that put out absolutely every reason why we can't spend money, why it's hard to do business. You don't hear any other club put out anything else like that. But Tottenham Hotspur, even Burnley fans don't listen to that. You know what I mean? It's fucking ridiculous. And just to take Danny's comment here as well, I get what you're saying about the whole calendar year without an away win. But you also have to look at them, to be fair, with Pochettino's last season. Wanyama's legs went. Ndombele's legs went.
Yeah.
Danny Rose was starting to go. Christian Eriksen tailed off on form because he was pissed off because he wasn't getting the money that he wanted.
Yeah.
He was also, some of these players were also getting pissed off because they weren't bringing in the players that were needed to help take this to the next level. Spurs brought in an Ndombele who didn't even arrive at the club fit. And Pochettino could not use him. It took Jose Mourinho running around an apartment block with him to get the guy fit. We brought in a Lo Celso, which was never going to be good enough to have here. Look, we can easily just look at it and say, well, he hasn't had an away win in a whole calendar year, and that's why he got the sack, because it's not. Pochettino sat there all summer long asking for the players he wanted to be able to bring this to a rebuild. He sat there. He told us all it's going to be painful. Anyone listen to it? No.
And
we all
also,
thought we had
David,
to be continuing. But the point is being that a lot of these players, the wheels fell off. He went from a Wanyama and Ndombele in midfield up until November to a Harry Winks and a Sissoko, purely because he didn't have the backup and the right players that he needed to be able to sustain what we were doing. And ultimately, it ended up costing his job. So I get what you're saying, Danny, but it's very easy just to look at that and say that's why, but that's not the case. You have to look at all the other things that happened.
Yeah, and also I would add to that we had a great Champions League run, and then we lost the final, and every player, you could see it, David and Jack, every player was on a downer. It was like they were swallowed up by the euphoria of getting to that Champions League final and then a big downward slide in their mentality and attitude once they lost that final, because they knew that they didn't perform, not one of them, right? And they all came back from pre-season, and you could see their body language, everything. When they got onto the pitch, they were on a downer. It's like they hadn't recovered from that Champions League loss, and they took all that bad energy into those first 8 games. And we got trounced by Bayern Munich, didn't we? 7-2. But we actually went into the lead in that game, and we looked like we were going to compete with them. But then we got trounced. But you could see it. Every single player was on the low, and they couldn't pick themselves up. So that Potts was trying, but he just couldn't. He was down. You could see like his body language on the side of the pitch. I was watching him very, very closely because I went to more or less all of the matches after the Champions League final, and I could see the whole club was under a black cloud.
No, 100%, 100%. Like, look, don't get me wrong. I mean, we were very lucky to get Champions League final. Had a lot of luck on the run.
Yeah.
But and it masked over what we were doing in the league. The league form was pretty poor. But again, you have to look at it. As soon as Wanyama and Ndombele went out, teams knew our weakness, and it was the middle of the park. They capitalized on it, especially that going into that new season. Like you said, the Bayern Munich 7-2. They just picked on Harry Winks all game. Most of their goals came from through the middle. Yeah, there was a couple that came out wide from Gnabry, but most of their goals came directly through the middle. Teams knew our weakness, and it's still there to this day. It has improved with the likes of Højbjerg and Skip being put in there. It's improved in terms of work rate, in terms of effort, and in terms of turning over the ball.
Yeah.
But teams know our weakness. Now, that's not on every single manager. That's on the club because they haven't provided the midfield to be able to go on and push on and be a big club, because everybody knows. I mean, your midfield is the most vital cog in the wheel. If you don't have that right, if you don't have steel there, your defense fails. And if you don't have creativity there, your attack line fails. It's the most important cog in the whole wheel is that centre midfield.
Yeah, we haven't got that link. And what I'll say about the Champions League run, we had a lot of luck, but we had a lot of skill as well, because the goals we scored in the Champions League, they were fabulous.
Yes.
We scored some of the best goals. Like, look at Solly's goals at Man City. And then we had the one that Llorente scored off his knee. That was a bit lucky, but still, we got there. And then Lucas Moura's hat-trick, and then the goal at Barcelona when we equalised. And then we had to wait for the Inter score to come in.
Yeah, honestly, I was nervous that day.
A lot of skill as well, David. We weren't just lucky. We rode our luck a bit, I must admit. Yeah, I agree with you. But we did a lot of skillful things as well in that Champions League run, you know.
Yeah.
So we got to give ourselves praise as well for getting there. But when we got there, we just fell flat, didn't we? It was such a shame because I was banking on us winning that.
I mean, you look at it. Harry Kane was injured. You know, he was injured.
We had 10 men already, didn't we?
Yeah, but I mean, who are you going to play instead of Harry Kane? I mean, you could say Lucas Moura, but I mean, Pochettino didn't fancy Lucas Moura.
No,
he brought him on because he worked hard, but he was never his number one choice. It's just you look at it. We had no Wanyama Ndombele. We were running out there with Winks and Sissoko.
Look, you put Harry Kane's goals next to Lucas Moura's. There's no competition, so you can't blame him. And Harry must have been in his ear saying, "Play me, boss, play me." Of
course he would. Of course he would. I would do it.
He didn't want to miss it.
Yeah.
And
no,
he deserves to play, Harry, because he's given us so much service. So you can't blame Pochettino for putting him in. Because he was the club stalwart. He played so well for us, and then he got injured, and then it was his right to play, even if he was injured, you know. But what I would have said, he should have brought on Moura earlier, because he brought him on after 60 odd minutes, didn't he?
Yeah.
I think, was it 63, 64 minutes he brought him on? I can't remember, but either way, he should have brought him on a bit earlier.
I mean, and again, it comes down, if we had better players to turn to, could have probably turned that game and won it. I mean, I feel sorry for Poch because he's dealing with, we're looking at Sadio Mane. I know he ended up going to Liverpool, but then we get in Nkudu and fucking Clinton and G. I mean, it's just ridiculous. We're looking at Bruno Fernandes under Pochettino or Jose Mourinho, and you bring in Lo Celso. I mean, it's just kind of like,
really,
the point is every manager has been failed over the last few years from the Champions League final onwards because of our transfer dealings, and that's it. There's no other way of putting it. I mean, we can keep sitting here trying to be football fashionistas, where you're looking into tactics, you want to look at other things, everything else. I mean, I actually heard something. I mean, it nearly blew me off my chair the other week. That Tottenham failed Ndombele. I mean, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I mean, honestly, the guy never even came to the club fit, but somehow we failed him. I mean, honestly, some of these hot takes out there really drive me up the wall. And we failed Ndombele. I mean, we paid 65 million, fucker. We pay him all the wages he wants. He doesn't come to the club fit, but yet somehow we've mismanaged him. I mean, it's absolutely absurd.
I guess we didn't coddle him enough, Dave. I guess we didn't coddle him enough. You know, clearly, you know, we didn't give him everything he wants.
Because no English club will buy him.
French clubs won't be able to afford him, though, Ellie. They won't be able to afford his wages.
He'll have to take a pay cut then. Sorry,
You're
not worth 200,000 plus a week anyway. You're not at that level.
This idea that Ndombele is going to take a pay cut, it's not going to happen. Like, obviously, we're saying take a pay cut if you want to go and play football. But I mean, he's had the opportunity here for the last 2.5 seasons. He clearly shows he doesn't want to play football. He's here for the lifestyle. No. He's here for all the Big Macs he can afford, the new car, the Range Rover, all the birds hanging around with him, everything else.
He's laughing all the way to the bank, isn't he?
Yeah.
On our backs. Yeah. He's stealing a living. Right, so if we sell him to a French club and they don't want to pay his £200,000 wages, we're going to be stuck with him, aren't we? All right, and he'll be he won't even be a super sub because we won't play him. No manager trusts him, even to bring him on. He's actually, and when he walked down the tunnel, he ran down the tunnel. That was the last nail in the coffin.
Run down the tunnel. I think that's the right word. He didn't run. That was the problem.
Spurs fans are booing.
Well, Ellie, I don't even think it's the managers that have, you know, gotten the best out of him. It's, I guess, the managers failing him, I guess, is, you know, part of the rhetoric. No, you know, maybe the managers have failed Ndombele, which is crazy to even think about.
It's himself that he's failed himself because he's got the talent. He has. We've seen it.
I mean, let me put this to bed once and for all.
We've seen it.
Let me put this to bed once and for all when it comes to Ndombele. It hasn't been the managers failing him, and it hasn't been the squad failing him. In order to make the professional game, you have to adapt to every single manager you come across. You have to adapt to his system. You have to adapt to his way of playing. And believe me, he done it because he got to the professional game. But once the big bucks come in, you lose your hunger and you lose your appetite to want to adapt to different manager systems and stuff like that. Every manager is going to ask for something different out of you because they have their own way of playing. If you're not doing it for them, that's solely on you. The reason why he's not being played is because managers can't trust him. That trust works both ways. He hasn't given any manager a reason to trust the fucker. He has lost his hunger and his appetite. He's proven that he can deal with other, and it's the same with Dele Alli. I've heard it with Dele Alli. We have to flip the whole team around him. I mean, this is another thing. You have Son and Kane, but let's completely rip up the tactics book and the rule book, and let's adapt the team around Ndombele. I mean, it's absolutely nonsensical. It's just absolutely stupid. There's no way we failed this guy. He has had to adapt. No. He has had to adapt to every other manager that he's played for to make to be able to make the grade to get to Tottenham Hotspur where he's at right now. But now all of a sudden we failed him because Jose plays defensive football. Nuno plays this sort of football. Doesn't matter what sort of football a manager plays. It's up to you to adapt. And my point is, he's proven he can do it. But now all of a sudden we failed him. Absolutely bullshit.
Oh no, bullshit. Come on. The player, he's shown glimpses of magic. But those glimpses are not going to be enough. You know, we've had enough now.
Yeah.
Just sell his ass somewhere. I don't care how much they pay him. They can pay him 300,000 for all I care. It's because I was backing him as well with Jack because we loved the player. I even got the nickname.
Everybody saw the talent.
I mean, look, I'm included. I called him Ndombele at the start.
But he doesn't want to put the effort in.
That's all it comes down to.
You can't have that without the effort. You know, he just walks around the park. Even a year ago, Jamie Carragher showed him, like, walking around when I can't remember who we were playing. I think it was Burnley, and they went and scored, and he was just ball watching, and he wasn't running the ball. Is that the clip they showed? Is that the clip they showed where he had about 10 opportunities to make a tackle and he was walking after them? Yeah. Yeah, shocking. You see, but that's us failing him, though, Ellie. If I'm a teammate of his, I'd bollock him. No, but Ellie, that's us. We failed him because we're asking him to run about. I mean, I thought that came with the territory, but that's on us. I mean, how dare we expect Ndombele to come here and run about? I mean, we failed him, Ellie. Do you know what I mean? Fucking ridiculous, carry on. I mean, honestly, some of these people that come up with these opinions. Oh, sorry. Dele Alli's another one. Like, we're gonna, what are we doing with him? What are we doing with him? He's just sitting on the bench doing nothing. He doesn't even get on because they don't trust him either. You know.
It's three midfielders, you would probably say, Ellie.
Winks has jumped ahead of them. That tells you something.
When Harry Winks is getting, a spot ahead of them, because at the end of the day, what Harry Winks is showing, Ellie, is a bit of hard work. He's showing a bit of, want. He's showing a bit of desire, things that, apparently these players with their pay packet, apparently they can't be motivated to do it. And it's exactly like you said, why Harry Winks is getting that spot ahead of them.
I think Harry Winks is on a quarter of what that Ndombele's on. And the lad is trying at least, We know he hasn't got the skill like Ndombele, but at least when he gets on, he tries.
I mean, at least he's got to grips with it.
I don't like him as a player because I don't think he gives enough to our team. Not enough diversity, because he goes from passing forwards, a brilliant pass, sideways and backwards again.
Yeah,
he remembers what he done before, instead of just progressing and making those forward passes. Because when he makes those forward passes, they're usually 90% of the time they're really good.
Yeah.
And they find their player. Oh, I don't know. We're a lost cause in midfield. We've got to get some a creative midfielder. I think that's more important than a right wing back.
I agree with you,
a deep lying playmaker is what we're missing here. A deep lying playmaker.
Someone running around like a blue-ass fly, isn't he? And he's making those runs. I love the way Kane is committed, right? And he's making all these runs and no one's finding him. I saw loads of runs against Chelsea that he did and not one player was finding him. And he was getting frustrated.
He single-handedly lost that game in the second half. Like, the thing is with Kane in the second half, he made runs. I mean, even Harry Winks there. I mean, Joe Lewis could have put his shot through the gap and there was still been space either side to play the pass. He completely overhits it. But as soon as that happened, Harry Kane was like, well, if they can't find my runs, but then I'll start dropping deep, picking up the ball and finding their runs, which he did. But when he played them, they couldn't do anything.
He done some brilliant passes as well, Harry Kane. In that
but I mean, look, Harry Kane is the problem at Tottenham, though, Ellie, isn't he? I mean, no one wants to talk about Ndombele or Dele Alli, but I mean, let's talk about Harry Kane all the time. He's this, he's that. I mean, this is why I keep talking about these hot takes. It pisses me off.
The chat onto something positive. I mean, in that Chelsea game in the second half, Højbjerg and Kane were our best two players, right? And then Winks was probably our third best player. But the only thing that he did wrong was when Harry Kane made that beautiful run and he done a duff pass.
Yeah.
We didn't find him at all.
And it's the easiest pass in the world.
If he found him, because we were on the up in that second half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of missed opportunities, you would say, in that second half.
What were we doing in the first half? We did exactly what we did in the first game. We stood off them.
Yeah.
And defended deep. Why? Conte should have outmastered Tuchel, because he is a good tactician. He should have said do the same intensity in the first half, because we were getting on top of Chelsea.
Yeah, but maybe, it's probably just because, and Conte has to work with a much worse, squad of players, so no matter how many, no matter how much he can outsmart, maybe Tuchel, it's still up to the players to be able to, perform what he's, expecting them to do, which, at the end of the day might be impossible because the players we have at our disposal just aren't good enough to, outdo a Tuchel and a Chelsea.
Take Sheffield United, for example, when their first season, I think they finished 7th or 8th or 9th, one of the three, sorry. But they did it with I think they spent 25 million. Right.
But Ellie, they had a settled squad from the championship, though. They all had that camaraderie and all that togetherness.
That does go a long way.
And nobody on 200K a week, which I guess what we're talking about as well. They had that hunger.
But we've known each other as well. Our players
I get that. I get that, Ellie, but these players don't like each other. There's fractions all over the dressing room. I mean, all you have to do is take Hugo Lloris's words after the Zagreb game, and there's other players that have come out and spoke since then, that there's players at this club that are not pulling their weight, they're not good enough, they're lazy, they don't want to train.
Yeah, hates a few of them as well.
Yeah, that's another one who's come out and spoke. I mean, you can you take their words. There's fractions in this dressing room. I mean, if I was Harry Kane, Højbjerg, Son, players like that who were busting their bollocks, And I look round at some of these lazy sods who don't care whether they complete their 5-yard pass or do it in the correct way. I mean, of course I'm going to hate on them. I'd hate them every single day. They're stopping me from winning trophies. They're stopping me from being successful. They're stopping me from scoring goals, assists, everything else. Of course I'm going to be pissed off. You will never get togetherness at this team until you clear out the bad eggs. It's that simple. You will not. A lot of these players do not like each other. And I'm not surprised that it's the world-class players that hate the shit players. I'm not surprised. I mean, I expect it.
Yeah, because Conte said something very poignant in his first few weeks. He said he wants them to get together and not get to know each other. Because that tells you something, that these players don't even mix.
No, I heard that. I heard even outside of training, they don't mix.
No. So, I mean, as a team, you want your players to like each other at least, so that they work for one another when they're on the pitch, right? And you've got players like Lloris, like you said, up against Dynamo Zagreb and Højbjerg. We lost the game. I can't remember who we lost to, but he came and he said all those things about effort and teamwork and, that we weren't putting the effort in. And he's busting his balls to get all around the pitch to cover players that are not running.
Yeah.
We've got to get this right. I think Conte's the man to get it right. He is the man, but it takes time. He's only been there 2 months, just over 2 months. So it will take time for him to make the team like each other, first of all.
Look, in order for the team to like each other, it's going to take time for us to be able to rotate the squad enough to be able to get the bad eggs out and bring the new guys in to be able to make the squad work together. It's going to take time. It's not going to happen this January. Potentially, you're going to put yourself on the right path in the summer, but even then, not all is going to be fixed. But look, Ellie, we have 2 more to get to. I really, really appreciate you coming on. It's great to have you back around, I have to say. It's great to have that smile.
You've got some great
it's
guests
so
coming
infectious.
on. And big up to Bobby in the hospital. Don't throw out your tube. Keep it in. Eat your food. Get stronger and recover, man. That's all we want. So we can see you on the streams again.
No. Big yourself up, Ellie. Absolutely love the kind words. Big yourself
Take
up.
care, lads.
Appreciate you, Ellie. And Ellie, the tickets the tickets to the UK were bought, so we'll be seeing you officially very, very soon. Looking forward to this beautiful reunion.
Game. Yeah, we'll make sure we beat them as well.
Love it. No, absolutely. I'll bring my own bubbles. I'll bring my own bubbles into the stadium, hopefully. Big up Højbjerg as well. Hopefully he'll be picking me up as well as plenty of other Spurs fans. But looking forward to speaking with you more, Ellie. As always, class job. And
come on, you Spurs.
Big up, Ellie.
Well said.
Big up. Absolute legend, guys. Absolute legend, Ellie is. What a legend. I mean, smile is so infectious. You gotta love it. Tottenham Tantrum Gold says, I am done with the players who don't care about the club. I had enough. The likes of Delhi, Mr. Burger King, Doherty and co. Players fans that sit there and defend them. I just thought I literally, it's gone to the point where I don't even want to hear where they're coming from anymore, to be honest with you. Like I used to want to try and understand it. But the more these guys get rolled out, the more they prove me right. So, look, I listen to a lot of podcasts, football podcasts, players, management and stuff like that. And they all say, one common thing I take from it is they've all said, if you do not have a squad or a dressing room, put it in the right way, you're going nowhere. Your managers are going to keep failing as well if you have bad eggs in that dressing room. Yeah. And once one bad egg is isolated and other players aren't playing, they'll drift towards them and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden you have a split squad, the manager gets sacked, and then you're looking at the next manager to try and come in and bring the squad together, which is not going to happen because you still have that same bag egg there. And you can guarantee that manager who's come in and spoke to the previous manager, he's already knows what this guy is like, and he's not going to give him a chance. And it's just kind of like, and then like people say that, we need to play them, we need to give them the chances. Conte's come in and give them every chance under the sun. They have not took it. So look,
every
for me-
manager, not even Conte, we've seen managers before give them plenty of chances. I mean, we just have to sometimes just come to the stake with, these players have been given chance after chance after chance under different managers, under different systems, under different philosophies. And at the end of the day, you just have to point at the common denominator, which is certainly the players. And I completely agree, Dermot. And, the likes of Delhi, the likes of Tanguy, other players as well that just have caused a horrible attitude in the dressing room. Or they just can't stay around any longer. We just need to find a way to get them out, however possible, however it can be done. Just need to get them out, Dermot, because they're basically just spoiling any sort of the plans that Conte wants to make, any sort of the camaraderie that he's trying to build around the club, any sort of the confidence he's trying to build with the players. It just gets spoiled by those kind of sort of examples like you brought up, Dermot. But pick yourself up, my man.
Spot on. And look, I know these two guys get on, so I hope they don't mind me doing this because I do have to be up at 8 a.m. So if I could bring Dermot and Ben on together, that would be absolutely awesome. Just give me the thumbs up if you're okay with that. Absolutely awesome. Absolutely
go
awesome.
For a quick loo, Dave, and I'll be right back in right away, but they'll take it away. Ben, good to see you. Dermot, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Good to have you guys. I do apologise. I do have
no, you're grand.
We're taking over, Dermot. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's worked, Ben. It's
We're
worked.
taking
Our
over.
takeover has worked.
First of all, I do want to say to Ben, there was a guy in the chat earlier on who was saying he learned so much off you today about coffee. So maybe do you want to say something to him out there quickly?
I mean, it's just we've already spoken in the chat, but it's brilliant that people are already learning from our little streams. It's designed to be a place where people can go and reflect on just anything, really, just to chill out. I mean, the world is a really, really stressful place at the moment. And if you can't get to a coffee shop and chill out and have a coffee and read a paper, come by my stream. There's going to be some great music. It's just going to be chill, keep your stress. And if you want to learn something, ask me. There's a reason some people call me the coffee maestro. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time now.
I'm gonna put the link for both your channels in at the very end, but I think it's only right we start with Ben because, in fairness, Dermot, Ben has been waiting a lot.
No, I'm quite happy. That's fine, Dave. Go ahead.
Ben, where do you want to take this conversation, and then we can let Dermot come in off the back of it.
To start with, every gunner is a runner, as we've all been saying. I mean, I'm still incensed after the game not playing the other day. I mean, it is an absolute joke. It's really, really, as I've been saying, it's an absolute slap into the face to every single person in the world who has lost someone, or every person that's suffering with COVID, for a multi-billion pound football club who has over 80 players on their books can't string together 15 players to play a North London derby against their biggest rivals. I would be running through a brick wall. If I was an Arsenal fan, I would say, get me on that pitch. I'll put some effort in. So if Tottenham were doing it, I would be on that pitch. I'd be like, put me and Dermot in central defence. We'll show these gunners what we're going to do. We'll show more passion than half the team anyway. It's a multi-billion pound football club. Arsenal fans should be incensed, but incensed they're saying we'll play when we want. No, you poor mentality. This is your biggest game. This is one of our biggest games. Yes, play the game. I mean, it shows how no matter how poorly run Tottenham Hotspur is at the moment, and it is a poorly run football club in many points of view. It's not that poorly run where we only have 11 players. It's unacceptable. Multi-billion pound football club. It is absolutely shocking. Totally shocking. And they should pay for the tickets of every single fan, Arsenal or Tottenham, that flew, whether it's from America, from Korea, with some fans that come to watch Tottenham, whether it's from Ireland, whether it's from Scotland, every single fare, Arsenal should have to pay for it. Because people have missed out on what would be one of the best days of their lives, or something they've been looking forward to. Kids being able to go to their first North London derby, and it's taking it away from them because they can't run their shit properly. It's an absolute disgrace. You need to absolutely hang their heads in shame.
Spot
on, Ben.
Spot on. And Dermot, what's your thoughts?
Absolute diabolical disgrace. They're corrupt. It's an absolute stupid decision, for God's sake. Why? Had enough players to play on Tuesday. I bet you they're playing next Tuesday. They're so scared of us. Arsenal are scared of us. They're a South London little club that had to come over to North London to make themselves look bigger. Well, when you come to us in May, we're going to kick your ass all the way back over to South London, and you can stay there. Because we're the kings of North London. You're not. So, I think Arsenal are a joke club anyway. I mean, the way red, I mean, there's your biggest joke of all. They think they're a traffic light. That they've got a joke kit, a joke stadium, a joke manager, joke players. They're a joke. Arsenal don't exist.
Even when we're shit, they're scared of us. Even when we're shit, they are scared.
Arsenal should be renamed Bobo the Clan Club. That's what they should be named. Not Arsenal, Bobo the Clan.
They also only sing one chant by the looks of it, the entire, game as well. Just the same thing you hear, around the stadium. But Dermot, I was on your channel even. You were asking me, what do you think maybe this game might be called off? And I was saying to you, I mean, there's only one COVID case. How could it be called off? I mean, that's impossible because the only reason the games are supposed to be called off has to do with COVID. And yet it didn't have anything to do with COVID and it was all called off. So, I mean, what do you make of that? This is probably the first time now that maybe a game's been called off because I guess, somebody has too many injuries or too many players sent to AFCON. I mean, how on earth does that have anything to do with us? How on earth did that have anything to do with the Premier League? I mean, why is it that all of a sudden Arsenal is one being shown sympathy?
Arsenal got us kicked out of the First Division after the First World War, right? That was because they had a dodgy somebody on the board of the First Division then. They're corrupt. It's all to do with that.
Yep.
Or we pay the right people around money. Is it Brian Dean or David Dean? I never get his name right.
David Dean.
He needs to be investigated.
Yep.
That board needs to be investigated. And we should get the 3 points. And Arsenal dock 3 or 6. I mean, Jack, it's a disgrace that game didn't go ahead.
Yeah.
I mean, if that was us, look at Lasagna Gate. We've been made to play.
Yep.
One day we asked for. They didn't give it to us.
Yep.
It's North London derby, the biggest game in our season, where we spanked the other side when we tell them who's boss, and they're scared. They're a bunch of little wanking kids. Excuse my language.
Spot on. And look, I want to ask Ben this because I know Ben has a gripe with the non-kosher food and that not allowed at the stadium and stuff like that. But Ben, they've also put a 7% increase on what you can buy inside the stadium.
I mean, it's a slap in the face to the working class football fan. I mean, I can afford the food at the stadium because, frankly, I come from a very wealthy family. So I can afford the increase of price. It's just, I've got to be honest with myself. I can afford the food, but the average person going to the game can't afford it. It's incredible. But it goes back to what Brian Daigle said. Support the local businesses in the area. Go to, Ocean Splendor, which is now Uncle Jim's Kebabbery, and now it's something I can't remember.
Chicken. Unreal.
Go to Chicken. Go to the 3 Point Cafe. Go to the local McDonald's even. Go to local businesses because support your local community. Support local people like me that have been really suffering with the pandemic. Support your local businesses. I mean, we've really got to start supporting the local area because the local area is in dire need of help and we need to start supporting them. So, yeah, if you want to buy your beer at Tottenham, absolutely fine. It's just like, come on, 7%. It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
It's not worth the backlash they're going to get. And this is what my biggest problem is with it. It's kind of like you're already charging top dollar for season ticket for the replica jerseys. Fans still pay it. And it's kind of like they've already increased it once this season. It's kind of like with the lack of transfers, with what we're seeing on the pitch, is 7% really worth going, pissing the fans off over?
No.
I mean, we're talking about a club that deals with billions every single season. They have their own fucking brewery, for fuck's sake. I mean, and they're trying to say, because of Brexit, because of this. And I get it. But they brew their own beer. They can put what price they want on the team.
Well, I said, Tank, those are the excuses for smaller businesses. Those are the excuses for people who don't have nearly as much money that are trying to make do with whatever business they're trying to run. You could see how those excuses could make sense. But when it comes to Levy and when it comes to Lewis, especially when it comes to Joe Lewis, I mean, for Christ's sake, the guy's barely spent a cent and probably on anything in so long, let alone knows that he even owns a football club. So you really do think about it in that regard, Dave. I mean, that excuse doesn't apply to them. They just don't fall under that, umbrella of an excuse. They can't, use that as their sort of way of, saying, oh, this is why prices have increased. It just doesn't apply to them.
And I just want to say as well, if there's any local businessmen out there that do own a business along the high street and want to come on and maybe plug their business or plug any match day deals, more than welcome to. I mean, I'm absolutely furious with this whole increase. I mean, go to the Tottenham Biomass shop, Chicken. There's plenty along there. Go to the pubs. I mean, it's better crack, better value anyway. I get we all want to be in that stadium together, but at some stage, fans have to stick together and say enough is enough. I mean, essentially what you're going to end up doing with all this increase is you're going to drive the working man out of supporting this club. And then you're basically pissing on the roots where you come from, because you look at Tottenham, it's a working class area. There's no other way about it. It's a working class area, and you're just pissing all over the roots where you come from if you drive them fans out of the game. So if there is any local businesses who want to come on and plug match day deals, feel free. I'll give you the platform.
I will say, though, when it comes to Joe Lewis and Daniel Levy, if you're going to criticise them, please criticise them as human beings. I've seen a lot of stuff in chats. I've seen it all over the Tottenham messages. I've seen it in the Irish Hotspur WhatsApp page as well. I've seen evil things being posted about the Jewish community in terms of Jews ruining the world, Jews running the world, Jews doing this, Jews doing that, Jews trying to take over Argentina. Please criticise them as people, not the Jewish community. The Jewish community doesn't want to raise the prices of food by 7%. Hell, Jewish people can't even eat at Tottenham Hotspur because there's no kosher food in the stadium. Please criticise Daniel Levy and Joe Lewis.
Yeah. Well said.
Please criticise them. Please criticise them.
I'll be honest with you, Ben. I thought that was just common sense, to be honest with you, criticising them and not the religion or anything else. I thought that was just common sense.
I mean, people don't have common sense anymore. Common sense died like 70 years ago. It doesn't exist anymore. I've seen some horrible things in recent years.
Do you know what I will say, though, Ben? And look, this is no defence at all, and I'm not making defence for anybody, but the more people get pissed off with Daniel Levy, the more you're going to see it, because they're just getting more and more pissed off with the guy, and it doesn't make it right, but I'm just saying, you are going to see it a lot more.
I mean, it's just like, it's unacceptable.
Yeah.
There's no excuse for it.
No, I agree.
There is no excuse for it. It's like seen today. We're trying to. That's the last I heard of it. Apparently, we've got a space laser up there, and apparently, we're taking over Argentina. I mean, I wish I was on these board meetings. I'd take over another country, not Argentina, for God's sake. I'd at least take over a nice place.
For sure.
As much as we love the Argentinians, because they've done bloody well for us, but it's just like.
Well, not all of them. I don't like Lo Celso or that.
No, don't like him.
But
we'll take more Romero's, less Lo Celso's, I'll tell you that. Jaffool98 saying, the original NK Dons were founded upon corruption. Dermot, I mean, maybe you might know something about this, but I guess they come from the same corruption, kind of roots that, the scum across the town from us as well do.
Yeah, they were started on corruption. They actually formed after Wimbledon split into two factions, the Great Crazy Gang, and that's how the MK Dons come out to be formed. But it's like the same thing with the Salford, Manchester United's other split team as well.
Yeah,
they were formed by a selection of corruption fans. So yeah. And I just want to say something. What Ben just said. I mean, I've had it myself, and I'm sure you have, Dave. Us being Irish in England, we've had racist slurs at us over the years as well.
For me, it's just water off a duck's back.
It is water off a duck's back, the same as you. But there's no need for racism in any shape, way, or form. It's not Ben's fault. It's not the Jewish community's fault. It's not the Irish fault. It's not any fault. People have a small mind. They see one thing, and they see Joe Lewis and Daniel Levy, and they do link. Some people make 2 and 2, and they make 5.
Yeah,
but it's not the Jewish community's fault. It's not anyone's fault. It's Joe Lewis and Daniel Levy. They should be personally, as human beings, held to accountable for what they're doing to a club, not the Jewish community.
That's what I'm saying. Religion, race should never ever be bought into it.
No,
have your footballing opinion on what they're doing on the football side of things, and that's the way it should be left. I mean, you can still be raging with what he's done on the football side of things without having to go into religion, race, anything like that. You can still have your rage. You know, and this is what I say to people. Like, I like Dermot, like I used to get it an awful lot at the start, but I just used to come back to them and say, okay, that's well and good. I mean, but like, what's your footballing opinion? And then eventually you get it out of them. I mean, look,
You do, yeah.
You know, what I'd say is just you can still get angry at what's going on at the club, but let's leave religion, race, whatever else it is, out of it.
At the
There's
door.
just no need for it.
Absolutely. There's
No need for it.
in any section of society. It's unacceptable.
No.
And
I mean,
we-
look,
and-
one thing we can all agree on here. I mean, there's loads of people that are rich that aren't Jewish. You know, there's loads of people that are rich that are Catholic, for say, all Protestant, all different religions. It's not one religion, you know, where it comes to having all the money. It's not one religion. Or what you can do is separate them from not like, don't talk about the religion, but put them all in one bracket as the elite. It's what they are. The elite has many different colors, many different many different races and many different religions. It's not just one. So let's stop that crap and let's talk about it when it comes to the football inside and things and like. But look, it's getting into politics. It's getting a bit tricky. It's very tricky.
I'm
to
sorry,
navigate
but
things.
I had to.
No, I get it. I
Needed
fully
to be
get it,
said.
Ben.
Well said,
And
Ben.
look,
Needed to be
like
said.
I've said, I'm never ever going to shut anyone down from coming on and having their opinion, whether I agree with it or whether I don't agree with it. This platform is always here for people to have their opinion. But when it gets into politics, sometimes it can get a bit tricky. So we will move it on.
And I'm sorry too I was just trying to back Ben up, so I apologise.
No, just don't apologise. No, don't apologise. I mean, we brought awareness to the situation, which is good.
Yeah.
But I just want to move on now because it's just kind of like,
do it.
you know, there's people out there waiting to cancel. People out there waiting to cancel me, you know.
Our great club, and how are we going to make it great again?
But look, guys, another thing I want to talk about is Ben, and you probably would be able to test this because you go to an awful lot of games. Is the numbers going to the games? In your opinion, or from what you hear from fellow season ticket holders or whatever else, are they not going because they're getting pissed off with what they're seeing?
I mean, it's a mixture of many things. Mark brought up a good comment that people are paid early in January after Christmas and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I mean, the truth is the football is dire at the moment, and people want to see their club being invested in. I can't testify that I go to the games because I love Tottenham Hotspur. It doesn't matter who's running, doesn't matter how badly the team play. If Tottenham are playing at home and I've got a ticket, I will be there. I've flown from France all the way back to Tottenham to watch the game and then fly back to France in the same day. I've travelled from Cornwall to Tottenham, watched the game, and gone back to Cornwall in the same day. I will be there. So I can't testify, but people are fed up with the way clubs run. Yeah. There's nothing you can't. There's no reason for the way the club's being run at the moment, but it's just it's a many different reasons. I'm not going to blame it on the way the football teams play. I just don't think it's hard times at the moment, and if you can't,
it's a combination of factors for you. It's a combination
of everything.
Yeah. Interesting. I think that's a very level-headed answer, Ben. You know, it's the combination of just the timing of the year. You know, not there being enough cash around for people. Combination of maybe potentially COVID scares, and then a combination of also. I think David's right though. There's also a combination of the fact that maybe some people look at it and it's like, I mean, it's Tottenham Hotspur. Like, I'm not really sure if I think we're getting into the to the FA Cup final. Might not actually go. And it's I think it's a combination of all three. If you were to pick one, do you feel like maybe it falls more maybe on the other things apart from the actual product on the pitch, or do you think it maybe more falls on the product of the pitch?
I think so. I mean, there's so many different mixtures. I don't really want to blame one thing because I don't think it is one thing. It's a mixture of many different reasons.
I like it. I think that was a very good answer, actually, Ben. That's a very good answer. Dermot, what about for you? Great question from David. Do you feel like it's a mixture of a bunch of things, or do you feel like maybe it falls on maybe one thing in particular, potentially maybe just there just not being enough money around for certain, folks or COVID, or do you feel like maybe it has to do more with maybe, the product on the pitch?
I think it's a combination of everything. But I think if you were to put your finger on it, I think it's what we're seeing on the pitch. If you're not watching players that are not going to try 100%, why would you want to part with your hard work, the money you've earned all week working? wages are probably down. People haven't got a lot of money at the moment. January's always a tough month after Christmas, with bills, credit card bills after Christmas and everything. So if you're going to save, and we've paid the highest ticket prices in the Premier League. So if you're going to save yourself 70, 80 quid and the team's not playing well, then I wouldn't blame him for not going. But I think it's a combination of everything. And I just don't think Levy or Lewis helped either.
Yeah, I mean, they're not helping it out. I'll tell you that.
No,
I mean, there's no new signings to be seen.
No.
There's no, actual, probably new squad to even be thinking about. There's actually not a lot of things actually to be excited about. And I guess we brought that up before, actually, as well. Dermot as well. David was here too. We spoke about there's not exactly too many things to be excited about actually with Spurs right now. Maybe apart from maybe where we sit in the table, but I don't know. It just doesn't seem like there's a lot to be excited about.
I think, personally, I just think that we all feel a bit deflated. We know we're not going to get anyone this transfer window. It's not going to happen. I mean, we can be deluded all we want, but come on, this is Levy we're talking about. I mean, that man wouldn't buy sweets for his children, I don't think, if he could save himself a few quid. I'm just fed up. But I am getting my ticket for the 13th because I'm coming over with Dave and the lads as well. And I'm actually coming over by boat, so I'm doing it a different rate to how you lot are doing it. I'm looking forward to going to the stadium. It's going to be weird for me because I love White Hart Lane, but I'm looking forward to going. I think we'll beat Wolves that day, but hopefully we'll have a few players in. But I'm not hoping much. But you never know.
So you're saying Santa Claus isn't on?
Santa Claus might come and visit us. I might sprinkle a bit of late Christmas spirit on Mr. Levy, and he may spend a few $100 million. Yeah. But I think we might be all certainly disappointed. And big up Brian Daigle for what he's doing.
Yeah,
absolutely big up Brian Daigle for what he's doing.
If we got two signings, would that be where would that be on the scale for you guys? Because Adama Traore, it seems to be one of them. Let's say we throw another signing in there. What position would it be for you guys? And do you feel like you would be okay with that? Would that be still kind of dissatisfactory to you? Would that be a bit of a surprise? I mean, where would that put you? Because I feel like we need 3 signings, but is that possible in January? Probably hard to say. Not many clubs can really do that. But let's say another signing comes in on top of Adama, which I'm only speculating, I guess, is happening. But where would that put you guys? How would you feel about all that? I'll start with Ben first.
I think we should sign another forward. There's a few really good forwards on the market at the moment that would be very gettable. There's a few and then when it comes to the summer, when we look to rebuild the team and rebuild the strategy of the team, maybe we can look at getting a more integral part of the new system, whether it's a centre midfielder, whether it's a new centre back. I think a forward would do us really good, especially with Harry Kane's injury record later in the season. I know he hasn't hit his purple patch yet. He's getting there. We've seen that he's starting to fit. As soon as Harry Kane hits full fitness, which is going to happen in the next month, he's going to start scoring goals like fun again. His hair is primed. He's going down to Hob in Loughton to get his hair done. He's going to be absolutely beautiful, and he's going to start scoring goals for fun. But
right, I need 5 minutes, Ben. You're give me a hard on. I need 5 minutes.
If anybody would be huffing, the hair, clippings from, haircut, be Dave out of a plastic bag. Honestly, Ben, unbelievable answer. He's gone for another forward as his sort of, signing to maybe make him happy. Maybe that would show intention, actually, to get another forward, I think you're actually right. It's not a bad shout. Dermot, would you be satisfied with 2 signings? Would you rethink maybe your initial feelings maybe right now on the transfer window, and maybe what would that position be, let's say, apart from Adama's position? What would that position be that you would be upgrading?
I would go for a centre-back, and I would actually go for 2 centre-back and a cam. I think we need somebody to unlock defences, because a lot of teams, especially the Southampton game, we had that we kept pressing. We needed somebody just to unlock that defence. Would I be happy with 2 signings? No, because Paratici, we need a few windows, and I want to see investment. January's a tough month to buy players, but I would like a few players in, but it's the summer. I want to see big investment in the summer. If we can get Dele Alli out, if we can get Doherty out, if we can get Ndombele out, get them 3 out and 2 players in, I'd be 6 out of 10 happy.
Yeah.
If someone would get the players in, even if we've
Love
got Vanovic on pre-contract, if we got Ndombele, not Ndombele, the Juventus player,
Dybala.
yeah, get him on a pre-contract or try to sign them now.
I mean, Conte was in Turin on Wednesday. Whenever they played their game, he was there.
Yeah, we need to show intention, and the board are not showing intention, and this is what the problem is. There's no news coming out. I mean, there's no intention, but I'd be happy with 2 or 3 signings to your question, Jack, but I'm not holding that much hope, to be honest with you.
Level-headed answers from me both. I'll be honest, level-headed answers. Maybe he was going to Turin, though, because I know there's some mountains up there. Maybe Ndombele wouldn't be a bad person to leave up there in the mountains, to see if he could find his way back home, potentially. Or maybe just leave him in Turin and see if Juventus want to sign him. I think there maybe, other reasons he could have been there. But if he was there to scout, Dybala or, potentially to work some deals, I mean, that would be spectacular.
Dybala's not happening. Dybala's not happening. We wouldn't pay the little intricate things the last time. They're still there.
Those intricate things are no longer there.
Yeah.
They're not there anymore. The agent has been...
He bought his own image rights out.
He's bought the image rights out.
Yeah.
The image rights have gone. He's got 1 year. He's out of contract at the end of the year. Juventus have offered him less than the money he's already on, which has annoyed him, which is why he's kicking up a fuss at the moment. He's very gettable for a reasonable fee. I don't think it will happen, just like you. A man can dream.
I'm a big believer in letting a man dream, for fuck's sake. I dream every day of the week, But look, guys, we are going to end it off there. But before we do, Ben, what's the name of your channel and where can people find you?
Let me put it in the private chat so you can put that in there.
Yeah.
So, it's just the coffee company, just like my other feeds. You can find us there. You'll probably find me in the afternoon during the same time as Brian's doing the thing. But my stream is not about... if you're a bit stressed about what's happening at the moment at the Tottenham, come by, have a chat, get that brain loosened up, and then go back to it. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. After 2 o'clock's when we're happening. And also you can find me as usual on Tottenham Tantrum Gold on the morning from 11:30. But you'll find me in the afternoons at the coffee company, and let's learn about coffee together. Let's have some wonderful chats. I've seen loads of people already learning in the Harris Army about coffee, and we're making everyone better.
Yeah. No, that we are. Guys, the link is here in the chat. Please do just click on it, get over there and smash that subscribe button on the channel. Let's give Ben a good push. Let's get him up to 100 subscribers. There are 181 people right now. So all we need is 100 to get over there and do it. Let's get over there and subscribe.
All we need is 70. We're at 30 already.
Come on. Like, I'll be honest with you, I am a trained barista. I can actually make coffees and stuff like that. And trust me, coffee can actually be very interesting, believe it or not. But there you are, guys. Get over to Ben's channel and check it out. Dermot, where can people find you, my man?
They can find me on my channel that I do with Kuva, Phil, and Ben in the mornings on Tottenham Tantrum Gold. We show old matches, debates. Tomorrow night we're doing a manager profile on the great Bill Nicholson. We're going to do his whole career, Bill Nick, for where he was as a player to a manager, and just take people back to when Tottenham were great again and show them that we do have a history. So that's the plan, and we're on the march for 300. We're at 274 now, so we're trying to get to 300 before the end of January. That's what we're trying to do. So, but I think Ben's channel's brilliant, and lads, thank you two for having me on this evening. I love coming on here anyway, but thank you very, very much for you two letting me on. But everyone, get over to Tottenham Tantrum Gold if you want a bit of go back to the good old days, and we show you what Tottenham and passion is all about.
What are we at on the coffee house? We're at 35 subscribers. Come on, guys. At least get 5 more across there on the coffee house, and let's get them to 40 at least. Come on. You're representing the Irish Hotspur here by doing this. Let's get over there and get the guy to at least 40, guys. Trust me, you're going to love it. Coffee is fascinating. How you go about making the cappuccinos, putting the little writing on top of the coffees and stuff like that. It's very, very interesting, guys. Very interesting. Let me see what we're at now. Where are we at with the coffee house? Benji, any idea where we're at now?
No idea. I'm going to check right now, but I reckon hopefully it'll be 40.
We're at 37. Just need 3 more. Just get 3 more.
37. Adama Traore is happening. Number 37.
And then we'll just get see where Tottenham Tantrum Gold are. Don't do this every day. Don't worry, guys. We don't hold people in detention every day. But these are 2 guys that I genuinely love, and I would love to help them out where we can. Tottenham Tantrum Gold are 277. So at least let's get that to 280. Let's see what we can do, guys. But look, there you have it. That's absolutely everything. Really appreciate all the guests that have come on today. But before we do go, we will give Manscaped a quick plug, Jacko.
Yeah, I think, as always, everybody, the fan shows, they are very graciously sponsored by Manscaped. Manscaped do actually sponsor us and are very, very kind to us here. Of course, the holidays have passed. You probably have spent the majority of what you did maybe on yourself or maybe on someone else, maybe on a few other people for the holidays. But if you have something a bit left over, I would say maybe now's the time to maybe, spend a bit on yourself, David. And, that can not only be, the Lawnmower 4.0 package, that can not only be the full performance package, but it can also just be something that involves maybe a bit of a cologne, maybe a bit of, something, to wash down under. Basically, Manscaped, they're just trying to make you into the better man. We know on this channel, we've already made you half of the better man by already giving you the flat cap and giving you the best content in the business. But as well, you might as well match it with a bit of the Manscaped kind of goodies as well, which can go everything from the cologne to, nail clippers, to the Shears 2.0, to the body wash, to as well as, everything for down below, even just a bit of something just to make everything smell better with prop mop ball wipes as well, Dave. I mean, 1,000 different things, but Manscaped is always very gracious enough to sponsor this one. But Dave, it's I would say it's just, if you want to spend on yourself, they're the business to do so, and they are also gracious enough to sponsor us.
Jack, the summer's coming up, right? And I know it's probably a bit early, but look, you have to prepare yourself for the summer. I mean, the great Roy Keane once said, prepare to fail, fail to prepare, or fail to prepare, prepare to fail. And basically you can take that quote and apply it to down under. I mean, come the summer, most people are with the tops off in their tight little shorts or budgie smugglers. I mean, no one wants the hair coming out the side of that. It's not attractive. You know what I mean? So simply, it is time to spend money on yourself, Jack. You're 100% correct. Get down there nice and smooth, just like you do with your chest when you walk around with your top off. Treat it the same way. I mean, it's what women want nowadays. And you want to be in the trend. Simply, it's absolutely brilliant. And I mean, the best thing is you can walk around with the flat cap and nothing else on. You know what I mean? It's absolutely brilliant. I mean, what more do people want? I mean, also, Valentine's Day is coming up. You've got to be prepared. As a man, you've got to be prepared for your loved one. It's crucial. There's free shipping. It's 20% off as well. I mean, what more do you want? This you're going to have all year long. I can guarantee you it's going to be your best friend. The pubs will reopen. The nightclubs will reopen. You guys will all be out there mingling again. You're going to want to have the best and the most clean-shaven. Plus, if you want the biggest, it also adds a few extra inches when the hair is gone down below as well. So you will be bigger than everybody else. And size does matter, I can assure you that. So that's why you need to get onto Manscaped and get over and, get your products in. If you already did get your products in, get the top up. Get it up. I mean, it's what you need. You've got to keep this going. We're trying to create the perfect men. The flat caps, the Manscaped and everything else. And there's more to come. But right now we're on the flat cap stage and there's too many hairy people out there. So get the razors in.
Too many hairy people. Everybody, please use the code FLATCAP to get 20% off. That is the code FLATCAP to get 20% off over at Manscaped. And like I said, everybody, it doesn't need to be, too much. It can just be, anything from even just a ball deodorant, if that's all you need at the end of the day. Whatever it is that you feel like you need to in order to improve, your own kind of, your own kind of manscaping in order to improve your own self, I would even say. Feel free, head on over there. Use the Irish Hotspur code, which is FLATCAP, everybody. Like always, we brought you the flat cap. Now we brought you the Manscaped goodies as well. So please head on over there if you feel like it. And also if you feel like improving, maybe what's ever down under, for the Valentine's Day as well. But really do appreciate Manscaped for sponsoring this fan show.
No, 100%, 100%. Look, Manscaped saving me on Valentine's Day. I'm doing a day trip over on the 13th. I'm going to be back late that night. So I might not have a present for the missus. But what I will have
the Valentine's Day blend.
What I will have is a big bad bull, or I'm a big bad boy. It's the only present I can give her because Tottenham are taking over and I have to go and see Tottenham, so I don't have time to get the present in. But look, guys, that is absolutely everything. I want to say a massive thank you to all the guests who come on and absolutely make this show, make this channel as great as I think it is. I want to thank absolutely everybody who tunes in, who may not have the confidence or want to come on, but who tunes in regularly and really gives their input into the channel. I absolutely love that as well. And I want to say thank you to everybody who helps support this channel financially. But we have one thing left to do before we go, and that's get the flat cap to 600 subscribers. Jack, plug it away, my man.
Everybody, I have been reviewing lots of players that we should be going after. I have been reviewing lots of players that we have been rumored with. It's basically kind of both places. You know, sometimes you just want to kind of dream a bit. I'm personally kind of like, when it comes to the transfer window, Dave, I'm kind of like a little schoolboy. You know, I kind of get a bit excited, you know, kind of thinking about, you know, what can I bring into Tottenham Hotspur in order to improve it? If you kind of like thinking on those kind of terms, if you like to think about how to maybe, you know, get rid of these dark days as a Spurs fan, head on over to that channel. I do talk about lots of cheap signings that, you know, probably even Daniel Levy probably would get excited about. So I feel like you should probably head on over there for not only that reason, but also as well, I do a lot of reviews on players that Spurs are in fact rumored with. And I kind of give you my ideas on maybe why maybe Spurs could be going after those sort of players. And as well, I just kind of talk European football. I just kind of discuss, you know, various things that are going around Europe, various players that I feel like could maybe be, you know, probably given a bit more appreciation. Lots of people do join me on that channel, especially Darius, who you might know from Paxton Road. Do actually have a few of the people that you might even know from the Harris Army who'll be joining me on that one that do know a lot about European football, like the likes of Izhan, like the likes of maybe Sean Snow and whatnot. So feel free, head on over there. It's just another second community. It's basically your other home to the Harris Army. It's basically where you can find plenty of other friends that you have in the Harris Army chat. And you can just talk a bit more kind of, you know, how to fix Spurs as well as European football. So please, really would appreciate it. About like 5 or 6 away from 600. So would love to absolutely hit it sometime soon. But everybody, like always, just check out flatcapeurotalk, especially lots of videos, like, you know, everything coming from who would be the best Emerson replacement. I basically talked about that. This guy from the Bundesliga, somebody as well. I talk about, is Adama Traore worth 20 million? You know, things like, you know, why maybe you should be rumored if Gamarish is heading over to Arsenal, why that should actually worry you, and plenty of other discussions. I also even just did like a podcast length sort of stream, about an hour long, barely over an hour, where Darius and I talk about the signings that we would make this January window and which positions we prioritize, which is basically what everyone is talking about in this moment of time. So head on over there if you really do like those sort of discussions.
No, definitely do. And guys, like I said, we are 5 off 600. So if we could get over there and support the second channel of the Irish Hotspur and smash that subscribe and let's get it to 600, that would be absolutely awesome. But look, guys, we're going to wrap it up there in terms of what you can expect to see here tomorrow. First of all, you'll be able to catch me and Jack over on Tottenham on Tour. We'll be on there for a bit of the day, starting at 2 p.m. Then we will be doing a stats with Jack tomorrow as well, and potentially sort of like a transfer stream / Tottenham talk, where we will go in deeper on the 7% increase attendances and a lot of stuff like that. Tanguy and Ndombele. I mean, there's a lot more to go into. It all depends how we are with time, because if it could be a quick turnaround from Tottenham on Tour to stats with Jack. So, but we will try and push it where we can get transfer news out. And I mean, if there is transfer news, I mean, we're going to have to do it regardless. So, but look, guys, that's what we have tomorrow coming up. So make sure you stay tuned. And if anyone has enough left, enough love left, make sure you smash the like on the stream, subscribe on this channel as well. Big push for 6K is on. And as always, come on, you Spurs. In Conte we trust, and see you all tomorrow.
And Levy, shake that wallet.
Open it. Find the checkbook.
You never beat the Irish.